Ayo! Welcome back, my lovely star dancers. Where are my eyes going? What is that? Am I just... I'm just staring off into space a little bit right now. Hang on. Yeah, what? Yeah, huh? Hmm? Hmm? That's a little better. I look natural now. Anyway, ayo, and welcome, my lovely star dancers. How are we doing all today? Hope you guys have been having a good one. Sorry about the late start. I had a couple errands that just took a little bit more time than I was hoping they would. So I kind of got back home in like a bit of a rush and had to do stuff. Hope you guys are doing well. And also, Valor, especially for your sake, I hope that Twitch works better today. Because I'm hoping, yeah, awesome. I'm glad you're doing great, Valor. That's really good. That's really nice to hear. What? You shouldn't have ads. Do you have pre-roll ads, maybe? Did you, like, refresh or something? Weird. Ads should be clear for the next hour. I don't know why. Easiest solution is that somebody just subs Valor. So, I see we got a couple of us here today. I'm gonna give it a little bit longer, just to let Valor get through their ads, and also for me to settle in a little bit. While I was out, I decided to treat myself a little bit. I got me some mochi. This red bean is very good, and it doesn't use glutinous rice flour, so that's really nice. Little mochi treat. And I got lots of fluids so that I'm going to be super hydrated during this whole reading binge that we're about to begin. Mochi? No, mochi. I'm not going to eat mochi. I mean... Nah, I don't think I like mochi that way. Although I bet you would really... Never mind. Never mind. Never mind. Welcome back, Valor. You came back just in time for me to stop being sus. Okay. I'm gonna launch the game because we're a little bit behind and I want to finish at least the last route before we have to go today. Alright, everybody. Welcome back to It Gets So Lonely Here. Ah! Damn it, Valor, you didn't even hear what I said. That's not fair. Okay. So far, we've been eaten alive by a princess. We've been drowned by a mermaid. And now we're gonna go meet whoever it is that is left in the village. I think I have like a little bit of a hint in my brain as to who this might be, because like I've seen a couple screenshots of the game, obviously, from the store page. But let's find out. So, you want to go to the village. Good idea. Let us see what further trials await you there. This night is far from over, as much as you might wish it was, and there is still much and more to discover. Hi, Kari. Oh my goodness. Thank you for the 6 months, Kari. You're so very sweet. I hope you enjoy not having the ads, like poor Valor who has to deal with them here. Where was I? Yes. Yeah, I haven't heard from you in a long time, Kari. In fact, I In fact, I said hi to you in FC chat a couple times on Final Fantasy, and you just ignored me. Oh, is that where you've been all day? Is that where you've been? Have you been on Tarkov since the wipe? I've been like really seriously debating on whether or not I actually want to play it. Oh, thank you, Kari, as well, for the gifted sub for Valor. Hope you enjoy your privileged access to the records, as always. And enjoy your lack of ads. Anyway, I wonder what will happen next. You follow the path which leads to the village, supporting yourself on weary, aching limbs, which feel ready at a moment's notice to snap at the knee beneath the burden of your weight. Plan to abuse this privilege post-haste? What are you going to do, Valor? How are you going to abuse being subscribed? Most of the times you just log on and sit there. I'm so sorry, dude. Oh, I caught you during tabletop? Damn. Well, I'm glad you were able to pop in, Immortal. Even if you just want to, like, keep me muted in another page or something, that'd be also really nice. I mean, the VOD will be up on Twitch until we get caught up on YouTube, and I'm sure it'll be great. I'm curious how it's going to turn out. And hello, Bear! My goodness. I was wondering if anybody was going to show up today. Thank you guys all so much for being here. I appreciate all of you. Yeah. Alright, Immortal, go kick the shit out of that slave auction. Show those slavers who's boss. And yeah, Kari, I did hear that there's a lot of cool stuff happening in Tarkov, and I don't know if I'm over the whole Unheard edition drama. But, and also, I don't know if I'm much of a fan of extraction shooters anymore. I recently picked up Stalker Anomaly with the Gamma mod pack, and that just like, oh, that's so fun. I'm really enjoying it. But there is a certain rush from the PvP in Tarkov that you can't get anywhere else. I'm thinking about it. You can stay in raid and swap to another area. They actually added that in this patch? That's like, area travel's a thing now? Oh my god. Wait. Oh, that changed. Oh. Oh, damn. Does it like reset your raid timer? Does it like put you into a fresh raid and like a fresh lobby, or is it just kind of like, or are there gonna be people trickling in and out of lobbies from now on? Fresh lobby? Damn, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't be. That's still cool, though. That's really cool. Remember when Helldivers 2 killed itself, revived itself, then killed itself again in a more slow and boring way? Seriously. They started out so good. They had something absolutely golden, and then they just made it worse and worse and worse. Yeah, and then they added the boss with the tripwires and stuff, and then they added tripwires to the thing. How's PMC Karma? I mean, I'm assuming that you've been playing the wipe, Kari. I don't know if you have. I've just heard... and they had Newsy. I just heard that, like, the karma system is a little messed. Like, a little bit not cool. Because, like, we start the wipe today. Maybe I will, too. I don't know. It depends what I'm doing otherwise. Yeah, but I mean, apparently, you might be late to the wipe, but you can just, like, level up in an arena now, right? Because you get, like, a bunch of stuff that carries over from arena. Can you dual wield Uzis? Probably not. It's probably not gritty and realistic enough. Sounds like you're not happy about the arena thing. I mean, I haven't actually tried arena. I don't know if I would like it at all. I kind of hate that they do force the team element for it. I wish that there were more, like, one-on-ones and stuff. But that's kind of cool. And I don't know, I like the idea that you can, like, go to the side and do something else so that you can kind of, like, buff yourself back up to be able to play the main game. You're not a big arena fan? Yeah. That's fair. Anyway, I'm gonna continue the story a little bit. The soles of your feet are screaming at you. You need to lie down, and quickly. You only hope, as you continue to run, that you will find a suitable residence in which to rest at the village. You do not know what will await you at the village, but you have visions as you run of a quaint, scenic settlement, all thatched cottages with sloping roofs. Surely there will be a kindly peasant who will be willing to put up a young runaway for a few nights. You can imagine, too, the face of this kindly peasant from the fairy tales you read in abundance as a small child. She will be broad-shouldered and ruddy-faced, with dull brown hair crammed beneath her cap. Her arms will be sturdy from many years of washing clothes and milking cows, but she will be kind to you and compassionate, just like a mother. You do not know what mothers are like. You hardly ever spoke to yours. You are only guessing. You are not a complete fool, however, despite your tendency to daydream, and you do have a few reservations. Peasants do not, as you know from your voracious reading, have much money, nor do they have much food. Remember what the first one said about the village? Yes, that it was deserted. That everybody is dead. Because yeah, in the Princess route, you learned that the whole country has just died to plague. It might be hard to convince a resident of the village, even a kindly washerwoman of your fantasies, to take in a complete stranger. Why are they thinking about a buff girl milking stuff? She was literally picturing a mother figure. Why are you... Valor, put down the bonking stick. She's hoping to find a new mom. Still, you must try. That is all you can do, really. So you run to the village. She's not calling her mommy, she's calling her mom. Oh, Valor. Valor. Where is it? Valor, I bequeath unto you a bonk of my own. Cut it out. So, you run to the village. It takes some time before you finally emerge from the woods, but finally, you manage it. How much time, you ask? I cannot answer that. Did I not say that time had begun to lose all its meaning? The forest is behind you now, at least, and all the awful nightmares which dwelt within it. It is still cold, though, and still foggy. Ha! I saw that one coming. It is still dark, too. The sun has yet to rise. You can see the moon more clearly now, as it hangs above your head, round as any pearl or orb or crystal ball. They do replicate a lot of the dialogue here. The moonlight shines down upon the village, nestled among the hills like a diorama. Hope, anew, bubbles within you. You have finally made it. Surely not, but your salvation awaits you. You follow the winding dirt path to the village, looking this way and that. But your hope, such precious, fragile thing, soon begins to fade. The village, up close, does not look half as welcoming as you imagined. There are cottages, yes, but they are in a state of disrepair. There are holes in the roofs, and holes in the windows. Most of the doors are tightly shut, but others are gaping open, the kitchens beyond them even darker than the night sky which shrouds you. There are no lights on in any of the windows, and neither can you see any people, insomniacs like you, at them. You cannot hear anything either beyond the sound of your own footsteps and the low, mournful sighing of the wind. The village is quite quiet, eerily so. It is immediately obvious, even to a naive girl such as yourself, that something terrible must have befallen this village. You know before you try your luck at one of the houses that nobody will answer you. There will be no kindly, red-armed washerwomen to welcome you here, no matter how much you wish for it. But that does not stop you from wishing regardless. Your knuckles rap smartly against the wooden door. Your efforts soon prove, however, to be in vain. There is nobody here to hear your entreaties. How very sad. You had to do the stupid test for work, didn't have to pass, just attempted. But you get attempt to read until you pass. Didn't expect to pass, but you did. Hey, good job, Veller. Good job, you smart cookie. You try another door, then another, but the result is the same regardless of how many doors you rap upon. Nobody answers you. How could they? There is nobody there. Once again, you have found yourself all alone. At least you have found some dwellings in which you can rest your weary head. Will you utilize one of these cottages for your purposes? Nobody is here. You might as well. But no, an abandoned cottage is not what you were looking for. You would rather have companionship, would you not? Bravely, you swallow your tears. You wipe your eyes with the back of your arm in a well-practiced motion. Then inhale. You square your shoulders, and you keep on going. Surely, the village cannot be completely deserted. There must be one person here, at the very least, who can help you. That is what you are thinking as you resume your search. You flit from cottage to cottage with precious little show for your determination until you make yet another discovery. This village, with its squat thatched cottages bathed in the moon's glow, has a church. Oh. Well, of course it has a church. The villagers who once dwelt here were not godless heathens, not that their faith did them all that much good in the end. Still, the sight of the church soothes your overtaxed heart. You were so focused on your fantasies of a kindly washerwoman taking you in that you did not pause to entertain the fancy of a kindly nun doing much the same. All hope is not lost. You approach the church, which seems to tower over you despite it being so humble. The church is a small one, but it is stout and sturdy. It must be, for it has withstood the centuries, forever standing sentinel on this hill like a relic from a bygone era. The church does not have any stained glass windows, but it does not need them. Even without more luxurious trappings, the church still exudes an aura of dignified solemnity. The stone building is fringed by a sizable graveyard, one which occupies the rest of the hilltop and some of its sloping sides. The graves, which have been planted by generations of wardens, are hewn from a similar stone to that which the church's walls are made of. I also kind of don't trust churches, especially in, like, abandoned places. In, like, an abandoned village, I feel like whatever is the sketchiest, most haunted place is almost always going to be the church. Some of the gravestones are shaped like lozenges, while others are shaped like crosses. A handful of headstones are even shaped like angels. Now, these are few and far between. There are very few people in a village such as this one who can afford such luxurious final resting places. You look at the tombstones with an almost childlike curiosity. forgetting in your imagination the visceral, heart-rending fear which has gripped you as you ran through the forest. You are out of the woods now, and you have, subconsciously, already begun to relax. I'm sorry that your boss sucks so bad, Star. You try to read the names hewn into the myriad tombstones, but it is dark, and you are tired, and some of these graves are very, very old indeed. You strain your eyes, but you do not have much luck in this endeavor. Oh well. Such superfluous details are not important. You eventually tire of examining the graves and turn. This graveyard is an expansive one, unusually so given the village itself is so small. How can it boast so many corpses? And yet, there is much to explore. You walk about the perimeter of the church, casting your gaze first here, then there, then everywhere, consumed as you are by your immense, all-encompassing curiosity. And as you do, you see her. Oh! Oh, she's cute. I really like her. What the hell is going on with her shovel, though? How many times have you repaired that thing? Do you not have another shovel? She looks like an ordinary girl, small and scrawny just like yourself, but she has much, much more than her unremarkable appearance might suggest. For some moments you observe her, hiding all the while in the shadow cast by the church, like a furtive lizard clinging against a rocky edifice to shroud itself from the sun. There was no sunlight here, though. There was only the night sky, and the stars, and the moon. Beneath the moon's light, a silvery implement the girl is clutching shimmers. It takes you a few moments to see what it is that the girl is clutching in her hands. Yeah, it's probably the only shovel. It is not until you see her manipulate it, its sharp edge biting into the earth, that you understand. It is a shovel. This girl is standing in an isolated corner of the churchyard late at night, and she is digging a grave. Well, you suppose she could always be digging a hole for the sake of it, but her work seems much too precise for this to be a result of mere whimsy. Tis hard for you to see her face, given the distance between the pair of you, but her posture is one that speaks of supreme concentration. She moves slowly, mechanically, like a woman on a mission, driving the end of her shovel into the earth over and over. Her motions are regular enough to be repetitive. There is something hypnotic, almost, in the manner in which she attends this task. Should you risk interrupting her? Do you dare? You get the feeling that she would not appreciate it. The shovel in her hands, meanwhile, is rather hefty. If she wished it, she could cause you no small amount of damage with it. Cold anxiety makes your skin prickle. You do not know if you should risk speaking to her when she, in her dark cloak with her shovel, looks so very strange. This is the first girl in one of these routes that hasn't been just like, oh my god, mind-bogglingly beautiful, and like, so realistically, the protagonist is being so careful now because of that. She's not the prettiest girl that she's ever seen, so she's not just immediately throwing herself at her. But what do you have left to lose? There is that, though. You have come this far. It would be folly to turn back now. It is with this thought in your mind that you decide to approach this... the strange girl. Your footsteps are quiet. You've grown accustomed to slinking around like a cat. But they are not quite enough. I don't know, Valor. I don't know if I would call this a dating sim. If it is a dating sim, it's got some real toxic Yuri in it. That's like all it is, I think. The girl's senses must be finely tuned, because she blinks. Then she turns. Your eyes meet, and once they do, you feel your breath catch in your throat. You did not have a clear view of the girl before. Wait a minute. Concealed as you were in the shadows, but now she, looking at you, you can tell that she is pretty. Her skin is very smooth, and her hair, though obscured by a dark hood, is very fair. Her eyes, meanwhile, are clear, cool blue, like ice. Those eyes of hers, which are large with unease, are fringed with very long, fair lashes. She looks as though she has stepped out of the pages of a picture book. She is simply too perfect. Well, never mind. She's going for it. Yes, all of the girls are really pretty, and the protagonist is completely desperate for love and also a little bit of a simp, so she just goes for it every time. Smelly? I'm not smelly, you're smelly. Hi, Espad. Been a while. Let me read to you. Perhaps she is some kind of vision, a waking dream, a hallucination. But no, she is none of those things. The shovel she is clutching in her hands looks solid enough, its pointed tip glittering wickedly in the moonlight. Thanks for popping in, Icebud. Enjoy work as much as you can. You steel yourself, expecting perhaps some sort of outburst, but the tension soon drains from the girl's slender shoulders. Her fingers, which were once gripping the handle of her shovel tightly, relax. Her lips curve upward at the edges. It's a cute smile. She is smiling, and what a smile it is. It is transformative. When she smiles, she looks radiant, angelic almost. Hers is a smile that is so suffused with light that your eyes begin to prickle from it. Okay, we're talking about how overwhelmingly gorgeous she is. She is absolutely gonna kill us. Just like the others. Oh boy. You were so relieved. You almost feel as if you could cry. It would not be the first time you have wept during this night, and neither would it be too surprising if you did. You have been through a lot. You must be exhausted. The girl holding the shovel seems to realize this because she bridges the distance between you cautiously, as one might approach a skittish cat. Yes, the other two routes, the princess in the castle and the mermaid at the shore, both of them killed us. And it seems like there was no choice in the matter, that's just what was gonna happen. Then she says, in a rough voice, which does not match her dainty appearance, well, does live in a rural village, what were you expecting? Oh, it's good to see another person. I was afraid I was the only one person left alive. The only one in the whole world. Now, this is quite the effusive greeting. Yeah, she is such a poor, sad sim. All she wants, this poor girl has never been loved in her entire existence. And she keeps meeting these beautiful women that show her so much love and compassion and kindness and then betray her. Every single one of them. Maybe she did. Maybe she did kill and bury everybody in the village. Maybe that's why the shovel is so beaten up. Her introductory speech is riddled with exclamation marks. Oh, it was? She's rather more personable than her apparel would make her suggest. You, a well-bred young lady, cannot help but feel overwhelmed. It is your turn now to be on your guard. Anxiously, you observe the girl with the shovel and you ask what she means. What happened? Oh, do you not know? There's an awful lot you do not know, so much in fact it would fill a whole encyclopedia. No, a whole library. You shake your head, ashamed at your ignorance, and the girl frowns. You mustn't be from around these parts. I guess I should have known. The village is a small one, and everybody knows everybody else. The girl's expression falls. At least, they used to. Back when there were still people to know. That ain't the case now, though. Not after the plague. There was a plague? That would certainly explain why the village, when you walked through it, was so quiet. Did everybody else succumb to this mysterious illness? That's right. It's just me here now. I've not seen another human being in a long, long time. It gets so lonely here. She said it! She said it! She's gonna kill us! Now that is an interesting turn of phrase. Wouldn't you know it? It catches in your side of your head like a burr. Oh yeah, maybe we catch plague. Actually, you know, what I want to know is how did she not catch the plague? She was handling every single body that died of the plague, and yet she's fine? Maybe she's like the only person in the village who, like, practices basic hygiene or something. Have you heard it before? You did not have much time to ponder this, however, because the girl takes a step towards you. Oh, where are my manners? They must have gone rusty after being on my own for so long. My apologies, miss. You look like you've come a long way. You said you were a traveler, yes? And your hands are very cold, just like ice. Would you like to come inside? Maybe have something warm to eat and to drink? My home's small, I'm afraid, and my food ain't nothing fancy, but I'd be more than willing to share. It's not every day another girl stops by. Especially not one as pretty as yourself. I'm feeling very blessed. The girl laughs. A carefree, airy sort of laugh, which does not match your initial impression of her. You thought, when you saw her among the graves, that she would be more distant, somehow, and more mysterious. You know, I was almost kind of hoping. But no, every single one of them has to be the sweetest honeypot possible to just drag you into your death. Perhaps you were mixing her up with somebody else. You are still unsure if you can trust this girl, but her invitation is an appealing one. It is much more appealing, certainly, than spending the night outdoors, in the cold, kipping on the graves. What are you, a romantic poet? Please. You make a show of pondering the girl's invitation, at the very least. You do not want to appear too eager. But your acquiescence is, alas, an inevitability. Why would you ever refuse her? She is the first friendly face you've seen all night. Without her, you would be all alone. Alright, water time. Hi, Jazzy. Welcome. We just met a gravekeeper girl. She's cute. I wonder if... Yeah, look at her. Pretty and wearing a cloak. Super messed up shovel. We're taking bets on how she's gonna kill us. How this one's gonna kill us this time. Yeah, can't wait for that shovel to beat our skull. Yep, just... We got 2 for shovel bonk in the head. Or, well, we got 1 for shovel bonk in the head, 1 for plague. Because the a plague killed the whole damn village. Eat the shovel. Your hostess leads you to a small, humble home, located but a stone's throw away from the church, built in the shadows of a twisted, towering sycamore. The girl's home is in such a state it seems even a folly to call it a home. Hovel would to you be a more appropriate descriptor. But when your hostess leads you inside, her eyes alive, and she says, "Here we are, home sweet home." You don't have the heart to tell her that you don't find her home very homey or sweet. She's gonna ask you to help her dig a partially dug grave, and when you hop in, she's gonna bury you alive. That's another one. Think you'll get shoveled in the head, then there's no plague, just her killing people? Possible. Possibly. That would be incredibly rude. As a guest, you ought to be more appreciative. This doesn't even look that bad. God, girl, work on your standards a little bit. You're in a run-down Medieval village. Half-heartedly, you look around your newfound surroundings. The ceiling is supported by wooden joists, and it is perilously low. Not so much that you're in danger of bumping your head, just enough to feel claustrophobic. There is a fire in the corner, though it is not consigned to a grate. The fire, instead, is blazing in the open, a circle of logs set alight like a scene from a witch's kitchen. Above the fire hangs a silvery pot, suspended from one of the wooden eaves. Oh my god, there is a hair in my face, and I don't know where it's coming from. Ah! Somebody help me. Help me. Ah! Stick a lint roller on my face. Make it stop. Okay. I think I'm good. Other objects of interest are hung from the eaves. Iron implements you take to be cooking utensils, various herbs, and strips of meat left to cure. So there are animals. I don't think we've heard any, we've heard, sounds, but we haven't heard any mention of, actual wildlife anywhere. The smell of cooking fills the air, mingled with the sharp, sour scent of unwashed bodies. Sweaty girl smell. Boy. How, you wonder, does your hostess clean herself? You do not see a bathtub anywhere. Perhaps she does not possess one. The girl's home is unremarkable in every regard, but it is, you suppose, better than nothing. At least there is a roof over your head and food to put in your belly. Aw, is her without the cloak? Yeah, girl smell. Apparently this girl's just absolutely rife with girl smell. She pretty though. Head pat, 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 pat. Pat, 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 pat. Nice little hourglass too. So quaint. I think she might be my favorite. I'm not sure. It's hard to fight against the cannibal princess, who is sort of a vampire. The girl looks to the pot suspended over the fire, which she gives a stir with the ladle. Then she brings the ladle to her lips to taste whatever concoction she has brewing within it. You can only hope that she is not, like the weird sisters from that famous play, brewing a broth with fenny snake fillets. Yes, I think it's just about done, the girl says, to nobody in particular. She sets the ladle down, back into the pot, then looks to you and smiles. Do you want something? It looks as though you come quite the way and you must be hungry. These words are like music to your ears, even more divine than the trumpets of God's most loyal angels. You are so hungry you could eat a horse. Not that there are any horses in the immediate vicinity. You express your interest in your hostess, who smiles in response. I thought you'd like the sound of that. Just give me a few moments. The wafting smell of dirt, wilted flowers, and plague. Yep. Probably a little bit of, rot in there from all the dead bodies. Your hostess retrieves 2 earthenware bowls from a cupboard with rickety hinges, into which she pours 2 hefty helpings of whatever it is she's cooking. This she serves with bread, which is so hefty it could be used as a murder weapon. It's not much, I'm afraid. It's only soup and bread. It should take the edge off your appetite, though. You thank your hostess for her hospitality, your stomach rumbling all the while. The soup does not look like anything you would typically consume, but the soup's poor presentation does not dissuade you. It is true enough that people eat first with their eyes, but when one is hungry enough, one becomes obliging enough to eat almost anything. Why else do you think that people, when stranded upon desert islands, will resort to cannibalism? Okay. You mentioned cannibalism, and we've got the meat, and we haven't heard anything about wildlife. Is this another cannibalism situation? Please don't tell me it is. Please tell me she's just got a bow out back, and she goes out and she hunts deer sometimes, and this is just a nice cut of venison. Humans are creatures of necessity. Actually, that's another fun little factoid. Almost every animal that is an omnivore or even an herbivore can be an obligate carnivore. Herbivores, if they feel like they need to, they will eat meat. They will kill other animals and they will eat them. If they're just, like, hungry enough. Or, like, if resources are bad. So that's a fun thing to think about. There's been, you know, hearing about, like, deer ripping apart and eating rabbits and stuff. You like to wrap yourself up in pretensions, but in actuality, you're not much better than animals. You are so hungry, your stomach is achingly empty, that you certainly descend upon your food like an animal. Your teeth glint, your incisors gleam, and soon you have consumed all that your hostess has to offer you. Your hostess watches while you eat, and she giggles once you have finished. Did you enjoy that? Oh. You catch your hostess' gaze suddenly, abashed. You were so hungry you failed to account for her judgment. Now you have some food in your belly, though, and you have been suitably warmed. Your old self-consciousness is returning. Did you not make a fool out of yourself? You demur shyly, looking at your lap, fearful all the while of what your hostess might think of you. You do not want her to take against you. Fortunately for you, however, and your fragile ego, your hostess is not the judgmental sort. She is not like the girls you grew up with. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's been nice to see my food being appreciated so heartily. I know I'm not the best, but I've been practicing for a long while. I used to cook for my father all the time, you see. This remark catches your attention. Quizzically, you look at your hostess, your abashment over your animalistic eating habits suspended. What happened to her father? It seems a grim thing to contemplate after having eaten, but... Didn't your hostess mention something about a plague? Yes, your hostess says in her soft, now, and serious. That's right, there was a plague. And what of the villagers? What of her father? They're all gone now. Gone. Yes. You see... Your hostess rearranges herself upon the chair, one slender leg folded over the other. Then she begins her tale in earnest. My family has a history. We've lived here for centuries by the church, so we can tend to the graveyard. Ah, so this abode is centuries old then. It would certainly explain the dirt. My father used to prepare bodies for burial, back when he was alive. He built coffins and dug the graves, then he lowered the coffins into the dirt. I know it might sound like an awful job, but somebody's gotta do it. There's no sense averting our eyes from death, not when it happens to the best of us. It's a noble profession, one that's been handed down in our family for generations. My father's father was a gravedigger, and so my father's father's father, and my father's 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 father. Digging graves is in our blood. It's who we are. My. That was a surprisingly pretty speech, coming from a girl who lives in the countryside, a girl who is without much in the way of education. It is apparent, just to listen to her, and the way she slurs her syllables together, that she has never had any elocution lessons. Not like you. There is a determination, however, to her, and a pride in her genealogy, which gives her a respectable aura. You cannot help but be impressed. Shit, probably, yeah. So, you ask your hostess, does that make her one in a long line of gravediggers? Yes, your hostess, the gravedigger, says. That's about right. Though I was never supposed to be a gravedigger myself. It's not a woman's profession, that's what everybody says. My father didn't mind that, though. He taught me everything he knew, and then some. I might be a woman, but I got plenty of upper body strength. I can dig graves just as well as my father could, without breaking a sweat. To the despair of my mother up in heaven, I'm sure. If she was still alive, she'd rather I focus on more feminine pursuits, like basket weaving or sewing, or to better attract a suitor. Not that that would do much good now. There's nobody around who'd court me, not for miles and miles. And what happened to her mother? She died when I was very young, during childbirth. I was only 5 years old. That's not how that works. That's not how time works. If she died during childbirth, you don't live till 5 before she dies. She didn't die when you were 5. She died when you were born. What is... Maybe that is a possibility. Maybe she's about to mention a sibling. It was a late pregnancy. Just had her in her for 5 years. Oh, well. You can relate to her, at least, upon this point. Your parents are not dead, at least not as far as you are aware, but you have not seen them in an awfully long time. She was comfy. I sent you away as soon as you were old enough, and they never once bothered to check up on you. That's fucked up. Nobody loved this kid. For many years, there have been no letters, nor any visits. You offer the gravedigger your condolences. You do not know if they will help, but you feel like you cannot say nothing. That would seem heartless. The gravedigger, however, does not seem upset by this turn of events because she smiles, albeit somberly. It's alright. It was ages ago. I don't remember her too well, and I've never really had the luxury of sitting around feeling sorry for myself. I had too much work to do. Around the house, you ask? That too. I was the oldest child, so's... there it is, sibling. So, she turned 5, and then gave birth to a sibling, and then the sibling died. Or the mom died giving birth to the sibling. After my mother died, so it was my job, after my mother died, to manage the sweeping and the cooking. Oh, and the looking after my siblings, too. You blink, intrigued, then glance about your hostess's humble lodgings. You do not see any siblings in the immediate vicinity. Where could they be? The gravedigger must have noticed your roving eyes. You're not exactly subtle, because she shakes her head. I had siblings. 2 younger brothers. They're both gone now. Oh. You should have known. You apologize to the gravedigger for your lack of tact, but she does not seem upset by this faux pas. Don't apologize. It's not your fault. My brothers weren't long for this world anyway. The youngest, he died when he was still a babe, and the oldest, he died before he reached double digits. I was upset about it at the time, of course, but I've come to terms with it. Life's a fleeting thing in this wicked old world. That's something you learn in this trade. Digging graves, I mean. I've dug graves for the elderly and the infirm, but I've also done graves for young babes still in their swaddling clothes. That's the nature of death. It comes for all of us in the end, no matter how old we are, no matter how much money we have, no matter how good or bad we've been. It's the great equalizer. Or so I've heard. A chill creeps down your spine as you listen to your hostess's speech. She is not wrong, but the inherent mortality of all humankind is not something you wish to contemplate. It is too disturbing. For the longest of times, my family was a small one. It was just my father and me, but that was fine. It was how I liked it. I was very happy, even if our lives weren't the best. You're gonna live forever, Valor. You build different. I'll see about it. I might feel like dying eventually, but not really something I want to do now. Or anytime soon. Bye-bye. I've never had any fancy clothes to wear, and we can't dine on the finest of foods. In the grand scheme of things, we ain't anything special, but I've always felt otherwise. I thought that I was blessed. We knew hardship, of course, and famine, but that's just the way life is around here. When food supplies were low, we always helped one another out. I had my father, but I also had the rest of the village. We all looked after one another, and things always worked out in the end. At least, they did. Until the plague happened. Yes, she had mentioned a plague. You've been wondering when she was going to return to that topic. You suppose that the plague is the reason that the village, as you traversed it, was so very empty. Isn't that already... You'd suppose right. The plague tore through the village. I don't remember when. Feels like it was a while ago, but maybe it wasn't that long after all. It feels like I've been on my own for centuries, but... Your hostess's eyes begin to cloud over. She looks as though she's entrenched within her own memories. What could she be remembering? I remember you make up interesting stories about me. Don't let your state sue me. It's so libel. It's funny. Hey, don't parody me, please. You've never seen a plague before, that you have heard of them in your history lessons. Your history professor was quite enthusiastic about the subject. She talked about piles of dead bodies stacked up on the streets and stacked up in the wooden carts come to take them away with no shortage of aplomb. She was a strange woman, your history professor. The plague came on very suddenly. There was no warning. One day everyone was fine, and the next, they were all dead. Damn, really? Overnight? I mean, God, no wonder, I guess, the whole country is dead. Enjoy work, Veller, at least as much as you can. I'll see you in a bit. It is with no small amount of anxiety that you eye the gravedigger. Then you ask, worriedly, surely they could not all have died. Is that not an exaggeration? Oh, if only. I wish I was exaggerating, but it's the truth. Honest to God. The people in this village died, one after another, just like that. I saw what the plague does to people firsthand. My father was one of the first people who caught it. I think one of the bodies which came through, that we buried, must have had it. Not that I know for certain, I'm just guessing, still. My father didn't have an easy time of it. His skin turned all gray and clammy, and he complained of a horrible fever. There were night sweats and stomach cramps. And then there were the boils. Is this the bubonic plague? Does the Black Plague have those other symptoms to it? I mean, it's probably not. It's probably just like something adjacent to the bubonic plague, because, you know, it's a medieval setting, and there's a plague, so why would you not draw, like, a line there? I think that's what she's gonna do, Rizu. I don't want you to catch it, so I'm gonna kill you first, so that I can preserve you forever, or some other weird, toxic, romantic shit like that. And then there were the boils. Boils? Pustules. They were the size of eggs, and they were full of pus. When they burst, it stunk. The whole house was full of it. The stink of death. The wise woman of the village came to see if she could be of any use, but it was no good. My father was too far gone already. She took one look at him, lying on his deathbed, and shook her head. She said she didn't want to get any closer. I can't say I blame her. It was a ghastly sight. I didn't appreciate it at the time, though. Felt like she was turning her back on us. I wished her ill. I remember that. After she left. Till a few days passed, and then she fell sick, and she fell sick too. Then I felt bad for cursing her, but I couldn't help but worry if it was all my fault. It's silly, I know, but... The gravedigger closes her eyes. She seems to squeeze her lids together until her lashes melt like flecks of fallen snow. Her shoulders, which are very slender, are shaking. She needs a hug. Oh, she needs a hug so bad.
She looks as though she might at any moment fall apart. It wasn't long after that the rest of the village fell ill. They all had the same symptoms as my father. The clammy skin, the fever, and the boils. The boils grew and they burst, and then they died in screaming, stinking agony. My father died too, only 3 days after he fell ill. But I think even that was 3 days too many. I didn't want my father to die, of course. I did everything I could do to help him, but it was all pointless. None of my herbal salves had any impact. I couldn't make a blind bit of difference. All I did was stand about his bedside, telling him it'd be alright, until his eyes sank into his skull like two black stones and his mouth dried out. During that last day, before he died, he might have been a corpse already. He didn't look at me. He didn't speak to me. He just lay in his bed with his eyes closed, groaning. I'd never wished any ill on my father before, but during those moments The gravedigger squeezes her hands, which are resting upon her black-clad lap, into fists. She trembles. Then, in a voice throbbing with awful emotion, she says, I wish he just died. Well, based on her anecdote, it does not sound like she had an overly long to wait. I wondered if she would consider that a silver lining. No, perhaps not. The gravedigger is still shaking. She will not cry, will she? You hope not. Hug her! You absolute idiot! No social skills! She's clearly, absolutely on the brim of emotional exhaustion right now. And she's been so far separated from so many people for so long, she could use a hug. Awkwardly, you look at the gravedigger. You are not sure how to soothe her, but you know that you must make some sort of an effort, even if it is a token one. You shift upon your chair, which feels very cold and hard beneath your thighs. Then you say very softly that you are sorry. It is not much, but it is all you can think of saying. You had thought initially that your situation was comparable to that of the gravedigger, but now you can see that this is not the case. Her suffering has far outstripped your own. Oh, Rizu, you're so right. She probably doesn't know when is the good time to give somebody a hug because nobody's ever hugged her. Oh, damn it, I'm back to feeling bad for her. Not that suffering is a competition, of course. Your apology feels inadequate to your ears, largely because it is, but the gravedigger does not seem to mind it. She is very big-hearted, that girl, to smile at you so, no matter how foolish you might be. Do you really deserve such kindness? Oh, again with the apologies. It's alright, like I said. You didn't cause any of this. I'm not set at you, I'm just recounting what happened, that's all. I do wonder, though, why I never fell sick myself. I wonder that too. You were literally taking care of your father, who was a gross, boil-ridden mess, and you somehow didn't catch it? I thought I was going to die, so I'd already prepared for the Reaper to come and take me away. Dude. 2 of them? How many viewbots have we got right now? Or maybe he wasn't interested. Maybe he'd already satiated his appetite and on all the others. You're still too slow, Rizu. That. Or maybe he thought he'd leave me alive for practicality's sake. With my father gone, who else would tend to the dead? I was the only person left by the end of it all. So as I had to bury the people in the village. They're all resting peacefully now, under the earth, where the plague can't reach them. I mean, Star, you're working You're working right now. You're working your day job. Your actual job. On the one hand, I'm happy for them. They were able to escape from all their suffering. What if we could just ban that with those word combinations? Maybe. That'd be really funny. When I think about all the people I've lost, though, the gravedigger tenses. Somebody text me? No, nobody texted me. Okay. Then she sniffs. When I think about the kindly washerwoman who helped me scrub the mud and dirt from my clothes. Aha! So this village did have its fair share of washerwomen after all. It would seem your earlier insistence upon this particular point was not without merit. Okay. If it just bans every single one of those words used at all, I'm gonna be a little mad, Rizu. I feel like that second one is totally gonna come up someday. We're gonna completely forget that we did this, and then somebody's gonna be like, "Oh, we've got the best viewers," and then BAM! Term blocked. Oh crap! Did they? Well, I guess that's just it, isn't it? Oh, they're probably gonna change it up like every time, because people do that, I bet. And the handsome young farmhands who used to flirt with me, and the priest who preached at the church, who told us wonderful tales of paradise, and the children who would skip stones on the lake and play hopscotch in the streets. I can't help but feel so lonely. The gravedigger's eyes begin to shine when she has finished her address with tears, but she does not let them fall. She's being very brave, much more so than you are. Anxiously, you extend a hand towards her, meaning to... What? Give her a hug? You do not know her well enough. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Hug her anyway. It'll be weird. It'll be kind of awkward for the both of you, but both of you are in desperate need of affection, and that will matter more. You're not gonna do it, though. Pat her head? That would be infantilizing. Squeeze her hand? Perhaps that could be misconstrued as a romantic overture, and that is the last thing you want. You endured more than your fair share of teasing over that. You sit there for a few moments, paralyzed by indecision as the grave digger poorly suppresses her sniffles. In the end, you let your arm drop back to your side. Your hand rests on your lap, as useful as damp kindling. You do not know what to do with it. You do know that you ought to say something, though. To show that you heard her plight and that you care. You do not know that what this something should be, however. No words could ever console the gravedigger. They would never be enough. They can offer some balm, however, to the bereaved, and so, after just a pause long enough to be awkward, you offer your condolences. What else can you say? I'm rolling my eyes. I'm rolling my eyes so hard. Just hug her. Hang on, I want water. Okay. I also got soda. Oh god! Oh. Oh, that was such a close call. It almost exploded. Oh, it still kind of wants to. Oh god. Okay. Ah, that's nice. Oh no, the gravedigger replies, wiping a few stray tears with the back of her arm. It's alright. I've grown used to it, really. being on my own, I mean, it ain't so bad, really. And I'm not alone now, at least. I've met you. You'll keep me company, won't you? Well, what can you say to that? You aren't callous enough to trample this poor girl's hopes, are you? You know full well yourself how awful that feels. You can do nothing but nod, a response which makes the girl smile more widely still. That's wonderful. I know you're just a traveler who's passing through, but I can offer you bread and board until you leave. I have food enough and a spare bedroom. I can make it up for you right now. You must be tired after your long journey. Just give me a moment. The gravedigger rises to her feet in a flurry of excitement, then retreats. You watch as she departs, a little too eager to please, and frown. The girl's home is small, humble one with a low ceiling and slanted walls. You cannot imagine such a small dwelling possessing a spare bedroom. This so-called spare bedroom is, in all likelihood, the room her father slept in before the plague carried him off. Do not think that you would much like to spend the night in the room of a dead man. What choice do you have? You are tired, wretchedly so. Why, it is all you can do to keep your eyes open. While you were running through the forest, desperate to escape your pursuer, you had no thought in mind beyond finding some safe sanctuary in which you could recuperate. Now that you have found said sanctuary, it would be unreasonable to find faults with it. You ought to learn to be more thankful for what you have. There are many, many people in the world with less. You rise and follow the gravedigger once she has finished her preparations to her so-called spare bedroom, which is every bit as cramped as you feared it would be. At least there is a bed, which comes as something of a relief. The rest of these lodgings are so humble, you were half expecting a straw pallet. As tired as you might be, you cannot lie to yourself. You have no desire to sleep among the hay like an animal. You know what? This girl doesn't live like a rat. She is a well-bred lady. Even if, she can't really be choosy right now. The sheets of the bed are clean. 2. A fact you discern with a cursory glance. So, you will not be expected to sleep upon the sweat-soaked linen of a plague-ridden man after all. This really is your lucky day. I got you this, too, the gravedigger says, somewhat shyly as she hands you a folded gown, to sleep in. I thought it might come in handy. Your own clothes are, a little shabby. She can say that again. Your skirt is covered in mud, and the hem is torn and ragged. This nightgown is one of my old ones, so it suffered a bit of wear and tear, but I hope it's alright. I hope it'll fit alright. It's clean, if nothing else. You accept the nightgown from your benefactress with words of thanks. You want to sound appropriately appreciative, but you cannot mask your fatigue. Weariness overcomes you, and you yawn, a fact the gravedigger does not fail to notice. Oh, begging your pardon. I don't want to keep you. I'll be making myself scarce. If you need anything, though, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be happy to help. The gravedigger bows her head to you like a drudge, then hurries off, closing the door behind her with a thud. Tired, though, as you are, you soon find that you rather miss your hostess's company. In the face of her good-natured smiles, you can almost forget all of the hardships you have hitherto endured. In her absence, however, your lodgings feel almost unbearably cold and inhospitable. You suppress a shudder, then unclothe yourself. You work as quickly as you are able, but your fingers are cold and they fumble with the buttons of your blouse. It takes you more time than you would like to complete this endeavor, but you soon have your shirt and your skirt dispensed with. You are too tired to fold them neatly, so you do not bother to fold them at all. Instead, you cast them carelessly upon the floor, as defiant as a sulky child, then pull on your new nightgown. Your hostess's earlier warnings were apt enough. It is quite worn, but it fits well enough. It is more comfortable, at least, than your old uniform. You have endured worse. Newly dressed and ready for bed, you loosen your hair from your braids and settle down among the sheets. It is with a sigh that you extinguish the weakly flickering candlelight which burns on your bedside, and with another sigh that you lay your head upon your pillow. Though physically exhausted, you have to wonder whether you'll be able to sleep at all. You can recall your previous dash through the forest in such vivid detail your heart is still pounding. That fear has yet to leave you. Perhaps it will never leave you. Your terror was such, it almost feels as though it has suffused itself into your bones, into your very being. But your exhaustion is greater than your worldly anxieties, and soon it claims you. Your eyelids fall shut, and your breathing inevitably begins to even out. It is not long until you are spiraling through a dark, deep abyss, lost in Morpheus's kingdom. But your sleep, despite your wearied state, is not as restorative as you had hoped. Your imagination has always been overactive. Even at the conservatoire, you were frequently beset by dreams of the most vivid nature. The dreams that you have this night lying beneath unfamiliar sheets upon an unfamiliar bed are no less intense than usual. In your dreams, you are back at the conservatoire, the place where this adventure of yours began. You are wearing the crisp white blouse you once discarded, and your gray, unremarkable skirt. Your hair is tied in braids, and your eyes are downturned, forever focused upon your feet. You tried not to look at your classmates, and you thought yourself fortunate that if they did not look at you in return. You did not want anybody to notice you. Until that awful winter, that is, where everybody stopped paying attention to you for good. Nobody tried to trip you when you walked past them in the hallways. Nobody, in fact, so much as glanced at you. All of a sudden, there were no malicious whispers, no wicked laughter, no pulled hair, and no thrown objects. You were giddy with relief at first over this newfound means of tormenting you that your classmates had devised. But this little game, that of complete and utter disregard, continued on and on, as the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer. As the time passed, you began to fret to the state of your own corporeality. Could anybody still see you? Did you even exist at all? Then, at long last, you found it, quite by accident, the source of all your woes. One of the girls had erected it in the forest through which you were sometimes bidden to jog for PE class, beneath the shade cast by an old oak tree. It was a makeshift tombstone, a small, meager monument made of stone, upon which one of your classmates had hewn a name. Your name. You knew at once, as you stood there standing beneath the shade of that ancient tree, that this was the reason behind your classmates' silence. This is why they had, for many months, been ignoring you so assiduously. They had buried you. In their hearts, you had already died. That's messed up. That's super messed. Your eerie dreams notwithstanding. Come on, dude. She wasn't even actually dead. They just all decided, all of our classmates, okay, this girl is just dead to us now. And from then on, she just ceased to exist to them. Why is this poor girl so fucking lonely? And why can't she just find somebody to love? This is so infuriating. I get that it's toxic Yuri, and that's just how it goes, but damn it, can this girl finally get some fucking happiness? Your eerie dreams, notwithstanding, you sleep more comfortably than you anticipated. When you awake the following morning to the sweet chirping of birdsong, you feel well rested, albeit woozy. Your head is aching. It is nothing, however, that a cup of hot tea cannot fix. You stumble into the kitchen in your night clothes, your hair loose and your feet bare, and the gravedigger turns to you. She looks at your face, which is pasty, and your under eyes, which are dark, and exclaims in the manner of one accustomed to solving problems, not complaining about them. "Oh, you look awful. I think you need something warm to drink. And maybe you need to eat too. Let me get started on breakfast." And that is exactly what she does. She gets started on breakfast, which proves to be quite the simple affair, nothing like the luxurious food you were accustomed to in your past life. The bread is hard enough to break your teeth on, and the cheese is a bit too strong. It is food all the same, though, and you do not complain. Your stomach was beginning to grumble. The tea is inoffensive, at least, and you drink it gratefully. You thank the gravedigger girl for her hospitality, and she smiles at you in return, a sunny smile like a field of blooming bellflowers. She pretty. Oh, her pins are like hourglasses, too. Weird. There's no problem. Don't hesitate to ask me if you need anything else, she says, words which come to symbolize your relationship. You stay with the gravedigger for many, many more days, and limited though her means might be, she always tries to help you. The gravedigger sets you chores about the house to keep you occupied, a fact for which you are grateful. You need to do something to keep your mind off your frantic flight through the forest. You can almost forget about it now during the day. And during the night, however, it returns to you. The sound of your feet against the foliage and the swirling fog. When you sleep, you are assailed by nightmares. Sometimes you awake after midnight, the sheets twisted around your body and your mouth gaping open in a paroxysm of terror. Though you try to tell yourself otherwise, you are still afraid. Being with the gravedigger makes you feel less so, though, particularly when you are sleeping before or keeping an eye on the bread loaves so they do not burn. You attend to most of the domestic chores while the gravedigger concerns herself with the work that she knows best. That is, digging graves. Is there anybody to dig graves for anywhere? Anymore? I thought she buried everybody. Why is she still digging graves? Her dogged persistence when it comes to this pursuit intrigues you, so much so that you cannot help but posit a question to her on one particular morning when the sky is festooned with clouds. "Why," you ask her, perhaps a bit insensitively, "do you continue to dig graves? There is nobody left, after all, to dig them for. You have always been practical and you cannot see the point in it." I mean, yeah, same. "What's the point then, The gravedigger ponders while holding her precious shovel to her chest. Fortunately, she does not seem upset by her question, despite its bluntness. Are you sure? Are you sure about that?" You should count yourself lucky when her temperament is so very placid. I don't suppose there is any point to it, really," the gravedigger eventually says with a small smile. "I know it doesn't have any practical purpose, but... well, digging graves is what my father did. He showed me how to do it, so I could continue his legacy. My father wanted to keep our family tradition going, and I suppose I wanted to do the same. That's all there is to it, really. That's all, is it?" "You think you can understand that?" "Not really. Though your companion's actions might appear to be illogical, there is a kernel of reason nestled among them. She does not dig graves for any sense of purpose. She does it, instead, out of sentiment. Besides, I have to do something to keep myself busy, don't I? If I spend my days idling all on my own, I think I'd go mad." The gravedigger laughs at this, as though the prospect of her own madness is amusing. As if you're not already crazy. Regular workout routine? Yes. That's gotta be it. Her laugh, despite her slender nature, is not particularly delicate. It reminds you, perhaps unkindly, of the braying of a horse. You are ashamed of thinking of such a thing, and your face flushes with the guilt of it. We cannot all be well-bred young ladies, you know. I really enjoy how they're characterizing her, because the other two girls were beautiful and otherworldly and perfect and so refined in every possible way, but she is down-home country girl. She is just regular old thing. Cute little peasant girl, and that's so perfect. Like, I like that they're not trying to make her like, oh, she's so overly pretty and delicate and pretty for a village girl. Nope. Nope, they lean into it. Still, the laughter of the gravedigger, as it echoes through the gray, gloomy sky, is strangely desperate. It sounds forced. Her smile, too, is a touch unnatural, the rictus grin of a corpse. You find, despite your attempts to return her laughter with a polite giggle, that you cannot. You cannot help but pity her. You retreat indoors briefly after your talk with the gravedigger, then set about some simple chores. The gravedigger trusts you well enough to manage sweeping the floor, a task which does not take particularly long, and the preparing of meals, a task which takes slightly longer. It is not until much later, however, once the sun is already sunk beneath the horizon and the moon is high in the sky, that the gravedigger returns from the outdoors. She is windswept after many hours exposed to the elements, and there is dirt caked beneath her fingernails. The gravedigger removes her cloak, which she hangs by the door, then looks to the pot suspended over the fire, a fire which you stoked with your own fair hands. The scent of cooking food, that of garlic and onions, I love those things. I love both those little veggies. Fills the air, suffusing the interior of the kitchen with a homey aroma which makes your stomach rumble. Taking stock of this, the gravedigger smiles at you, a toothy smile which, despite her status as a lowly peasant, is surprisingly clean and bright and white. Thank you, Guys! Guys, she's calling us Dear One. The murder is coming very soon. This route feels like it's going by the fastest. She's about to kill us. She's like going to kill us, possibly tonight. Thank you so much, Dear One. There's nothing like returning home after a hard day's work to find dinner already prepared. Now let me give it a test. The gravedigger dips a spoon into the soup, then brings it to her lips. She blows upon it, and she places the spoon into her mouth, the wooden utensil clacking against her teeth. You observe this with a touch of anxiety. Will she like the food which you have prepared for her? You have cooked for her before in the past, and she always very complimentary of your efforts. Cooking is not your forte, however. You never had to concern yourself with it, really, growing up in the relative comfort you did. You think that you enjoy this rural, rustic mode of existence more than you did any of the privileges of your past life. At least now, with the gravedigger, you have a steadfast friend, a staunch ally. Yep. When she says, Dear One, we're on the way out. When you are with her, you are not alone, and that is worth its weight in gold. The gravedigger exclaims after drawing the spoon from her lips. Her lips smiling, a bright, guileless one. It's delicious. Your face flushes at this compliment. You're unaccustomed to receiving them, and it makes you feel good. Shyly, you ask the gravedigger, I beg to grave differ. You ask the gravedigger if she truly means that, a query which makes the gravedigger smile. Of course I mean it. You become quite good at cooking, really. That is a relief. You were not very good at all this cooking malarkey in the beginning. You did not know how to handle a knife, nor how to peel a vegetable, and you cut yourself more than once. You bled into the soup on several occasions, but never once did you throw this sullied soup out. The gravedigger lives a humble existence, and she cannot afford to waste her precious ingredients. Your soups, during your stay, have all been seasoned with the slightest hint of iron. Oh, okay. Today's soup, however, is a marked step above the rest. You did not cut yourself with a knife, even once. Maybe your companion's compliments are not empty fluff. Maybe you really are improving. The soup should be ready to serve. I have some bread, too, that we can eat with it, but... Oh, I should brew some tea, too. Let me. Ah, yes, the tea. You knew that you were forgetting something. The tea is gonna be a sedative. The tea is gonna put us to sleep. She's gonna drug us, and then do something terrible. You're so focused on the soup. It must have slipped your mind. Your face flushes yet again at this oversight, and shyly you offer to correct it. The gravedigger, however, waves your request aside. No, it's alright. You made the dinner, so I'll brew the tea. It's only fair, and it won't take that long. Would you mind serving up the soup while I'm busy? Of course you would not mind. You do enjoy making yourself useful. For a lady, you are awfully domestic. You work alongside the gravedigger to finish your nightly meal together. You serve it, soup and bread, alongside 2 cups of piping hot tea, prepared by your hostess's own 2 hands. You sit together at the table, then partake in this simple fare, after saying grace. The soup is really quite good. Despite it being made from only the most commonplace of ingredients, there is a bit of a kick to it, and it warms you from the inside out. The tea, meanwhile... Come on, guys. Come on. Who called it? Who called it? The tea, meanwhile, is very soothing, so much so it makes you feel rather sleepy. Is that egg a reward for calling it? You would like to sit with the gravedigger for a little while longer and tell stories, as you sometimes have in the past. That, or play cards. The nights are long, and there's no better way to pass them than spending time with her. Games of old maid, alas, will have to wait. You are too Jazzy! Thank you so much for the 9 months! We'll add a little extra badge to your card. You are born. The egg hatched a Jazzy, and it did a little bah! I wish I knew how to replicate that fox noise. It's so cute. You do not know what has happened, but after consuming your victuals, you feel utterly fatigued. You explain your predicament to the gravedigger between your yawns, and she nods in response. That's alright. You don't need to stay up with me, not if you ain't up to it. You should head off to bed and rest that pretty head of yours. Do not think you are particularly pretty, but you presume that the graveyard, we're talking to a graveyard. God damn it, the gravedigger is just regurgitating a phrase to you. She does not truly mean it. How could she? She is far prettier than you are. You thank the gravedigger for her understanding, then rise from the table. You retreat to the spare bedroom on trembling legs, then change out of your clothes. You have only just slid into your nightgown when you hear the rapping of knuckles upon your door, light and unobtrusive. This rapping could, of course, belong to but one person. It is the gravedigger, come to check up on you. I'm sorry, the gravedigger says, her voice soft, but you rushed to your room so soon after eating. I couldn't help but worry about you. Would you mind if I took a look at you? I just want to see if you're alright. The gravedigger is trying to keep her voice steady. but you can hear it wavering regardless. I sometimes wish we would get this narration before she speaks. Because every time I read the line and then I see this and I'm like, oh, I could have read that differently. She really does sound concerned. So much so, she very well could be on the brink of tears. I do not want her to cry for you. You would feel horribly guilty if you upset her, even inadvertently, given all that she has done for you. You bid the gravedigger entry into your room, therefore, without further delay, an invitation she hastens to take. The door swings inwards with a creak, and there your hostess stands, still attired in black, her clothes a stark contrast to your pure white, off-white, nightgown. The gravedigger looks at you, seated in bed with your hair freed from your usual braids, and exhales. Is that relief, you wonder, playing about her face? But why? What was she expecting to see, exactly, before entering your bedchamber? Thank you for letting me in, the gravedigger says, toying with her fingers. How do you feel? Not too terrible, you reassure her. There are no particular problems with your health, you just feel tired. Are you sure you're not sick? Your face does look a bit pale. That would be nothing out of the norm. You are always pale. True. Now, is there anything I can do for you? Would you like something warm to drink? Maybe a hot brick to place in your bed? It should keep you warm. You appreciate your hostess's thoughtfulness, but you reassure her that this won't be necessary. You will be fine. I hope so. I thought that about my father, too, before he... The gravedigger begins, but her voice soon trails off. Maybe it's not tea, maybe it's early symptoms. Ooh. Ooh. She does not finish that thought. She does not need to. You know now what she was thinking of before she entered your bedroom. Cold, clammy skin, a sweating brow, rank, oozing pustules. You think upon the symptoms which are eerily similar to those recounted during the Great Plague which once beset your own country, and you shudder. If you don't want anything, then I'll be on my way, the gravedigger says, but before that... Before that? It was just a fancy on my part, but I was wondering, would you mind if I brushed your hair for a little while? Oh, your hair? That's right. It's such a pretty shade of red is all. I just thought, well, it's just a fancy, really. You don't have to let me, not if you don't want to, but I thought it might help you relax if you're feeling under the weather. I've heard it's supposed to be soothing. That is what the gravedigger says, but you have a distinct feeling that she is the one looking for solace here. She is not quite so selfless, perhaps, as she would like you to think. But she has been so very good to you, and has done so very much for you, and you do not want to begrudge her for this small self-indulgence. You rather think she deserves it. You agree, therefore, to her request, and upon doing so, you are certain you have made the right choice. Your hostess's face lights up immediately, in a manner which makes you blush. Oh, thank you. It'll be my honor. Now let me fetch my brush. The gravedigger retreats from your room in a hurry, but returns soon after, holding in her right hand the promised brush. This artifact acquired, the gravedigger then settles herself upon your bed, by your side. She looks at your hair for a few moments, her expression pensive. Then she announces that she will begin. The gravedigger leans in. The wooden frame of the bed creaks under her weight, a creak which melds with the sighing of the breeze outdoors. You can feel the bristles of the brush running through your hair. It is soothing enough, so much so it makes you shiver. The sensation is a pleasant one, and somewhat nostalgic. Did your mother do this for you, you wonder, when you were a little girl? If she did, It must have been when you were a very little girl. You have not seen your mother in quite some time, not after you enrolled at the conservatoire. Oh, you have such lovely hair, dear one. It's soft, just like silk, not at all like mine. Mine is so coarse. The gentle voice draws you out of your vague, half-formed reminiscences. It sounds as though the gravedigger is lost in nostalgia of her own because her voice, when she speaks next, is dreamy. I think my mother used to brush my hair like this for me, back when she was still alive. That must have been a long time ago, though. It is funny, you think, as the bristles of the brush continue to slide through your tresses, that you and the gravedigger should both be reminiscing in tandem about your respective mothers. Perhaps there is something maternal in the act of brushing one's hair, which is wont to summoning forth such images. I would not know, personally. I cannot remember my own mother at all. I don't think I liked having my hair brushed very much, the gravedigger continues, her breath warm against the exposed nape of your neck. My mother used to complain that I squirmed too much. I can remember that. She always told me to sit still. That wasn't my fault I squirmed. She used too much force. Now, this is curious. It sounds as though the reminiscences of the gravedigger are not particularly fond after all. She not get along well with her mother? I can't rightly say, the gravedigger replies in a somber sort of voice. I was young, like I said, when she died. I really don't remember her too well. But I don't think she ever had much time for me. She was always too busy with all the cooking and the cleaning, and looking after my baby brothers. But she had time enough, despite that, to brush your hair. She did what she felt she had to make me look presentable. Not that it really worked. I wasn't like the other girls in the village, you see, who liked to sit indoors with their mothers and sew. I'd always loved the outdoors. My father said that I inherited that from him. Ruefully, the gravedigger smiled. Not that you can see it with your back facing her. My mother said it wasn't very, well, maidenly. She didn't like that I always traipsed around outside after my father, watching as he dug graves. She said it wasn't very appropriate, like I was some sort of princess wearing a fine dress. The gravedigger snorts. I used to get a bit muddy, yes, and maybe I did get burrs in my clothes and knots in my hair, but it shouldn't have mattered. It's not like I ever had hopes of marrying a prince, no matter what my mother said. But still, she hoped. She had a lot of hopes for my mother. High hopes. I think she might have resented my father, maybe, for working such a menial job. Our profession is an honest one, but it's never made much money. I think my mother was hoping to find jewels and dresses and... oh, I don't know. She's always had ideas. Her head was full of fairy tales. It was a shame, I suppose, that reality didn't match up to what she wanted. I didn't match up to what she wanted. The bitterness in your friend's voice is unmistakable, so much so you want to console her. What would you say to her, though? You never met your companion's mother. You never will, either. Her cold, inert body has been lying in the graveyard, buried beneath a tombstone for over a decade. You have no way of ascertaining whether your companion's mother ever truly cared for her. You do have intelligence enough, however, to understand that poorly thought out condolences can cause more harm than good. You would not like it if people tried to assure you that of course your father loved you, really. If he loved you, then why did he send you away from home? Why didn't he ever send you any letters? You know he was worried about finances, but that seems a poor excuse to pretend that his only daughter did not exist. As for your own mother, meanwhile, she was nice, at least you think she was, but she was woefully ineffectual. Though she was, nominally, an adult, She always cleaved before your father's judgment. You think that she was afraid of him.
By the way, sorry I didn't say so earlier. Hi, Immortal. Welcome back. I hope tabletop was good, and I hope you're enjoying now.
You think that she was afraid of him. You did not try to tell the gravedigger how, therefore, that her mother loved her. That she must have done, else she would not have given birth to her. Instead, you sit there, letting the brush run through your hair, and you say, quietly, that you understand. Sometimes, you feel like a disappointment yourself. Well, the gravedigger says, after a pause, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I guess it happens to all of us. Guess so. Parents are only people, after all. While one would hope one's parents would be kind and attentive, they too can fall victim to caprices of their own. Just because one has brought a child into this world, it does not mean that one will be able to take care of it properly. Not all parents are responsible, just as not all people are responsible. It is a painful subject. Oh well, it's alright if my mother never liked me, or even if she never loved me. I know my father did, and that's all that matters. He was always there for me, no matter what. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. She winces. At least, till he wasn't. He died. And I didn't do a thing to help him. The companion's shoulders are beginning to shake. You still cannot see her, but you can feel her body convulsing. Hug her. Hug her. Hug her. You can sense her loneliness rolling off her in waves. It is all-consuming like the waters of a deep, dark ocean. Grief anew pierces your heart, not on your behalf, but for the sake of your benefactress. She does not deserve to suffer so much. This, you have no qualms with telling her. You turn to face her and pluck the brush which has been hovering in the air inert from her fingers. Then you let her know that her father's death was not her fault. What else? What could she have done? She could not have cured his illness. I know, but I can't help but think, what if? I keep racking in my head over and over trying to come up with something. But I can't think of anything. And even if I could, it's too late. He's already dead. He's dead and buried. I buried him, and now I'm all alone. She might have been alone, you tell the gravedigger. But she isn't now. Not anymore. How can she be when you are there? I know that. I know. And I'm grateful, but I don't know if I deserve it. Why would she not deserve your company? You do not understand. Because I couldn't do nothing for nobody. My father always looked out for me when I was a little girl, but when he needed me most, I failed him. I failed everyone. All the villagers, all my friends, all died. What would I do if the same thing happened to you? I don't think I could bear it. I don't want you getting sick too. Not when I care about you so much. I thought I'd gotten used to being it on my own. But now that you're here, it's making me worry all over again. I've been worrying so much I can't sleep from it. I'm scared. Her companion's voice catches in her throat. Then she collapses in on herself. She leans forward, her arms wound about her middle as if to steady herself, and she cries. She cries and she cries and she cries. For a few moments you look at the gravedigger, unsure what to do. Her pale face, streaked with silvery tears, seems to flicker in the candlelight. Her shoulders, which seem too slender to bear the accumulative weight of all the sorrows she's endured, are shaking. Your fatigue continues to cling to you, as insistent as the fog which rolls amongst the tombstones in the graveyard at night. You are not so very tired, however. You cannot offer your hostess some comfort. You do not know what you can say to console her. You feel too weary to think of any sophisms. But there is something you can think of. You would not typically be so bold, of course, but you are tired enough for once to throw caution to the wind. That and the tears of the gravedigger are awfully arresting. Yay! Finally! Oh my god! You open your arms, and before the gravedigger can pass comment, you pull her to your chest. I know we have the gallery, but I just... Damn it, finally. That makes me so happy. Oh... A soft exclamation escapes the lips of the gravedigger, quieter than the sound of the wintry snow as it brushes the ground. Then, there is nothing. The gravedigger is stiff in your arms for a few moments, like the corpses she and her father used to seal away inside their wooden coffins. She is all wide eyes and awkward, pointed elbows, tears still coursing down her pale cheeks. You worry briefly as you hold her that you have perhaps made a mistake. Were your attempts at consoling her too clumsy? You would not know. You have never been in a situation like this before. You have never consoled any friends before because you have never had any friends to console. It is not so now, however. You are as far away from your old life as it is possible to be, and the gravedigger does not curse you for your impudence. Neither does she try to squirm away from you. Instead, she sits there, still as a statue cradled in your arms. Oh, I'm very sorry to show you something so embarrassing. It's just... I get so lonely sometimes. Until, at long last, with a breathy sob, she lets the full weight of her body fall against yours. You run your hands against your sobbing companion's shoulder blades and her back, and gently you soothe her. You tell her that she does not need to apologize. There is no shame in crying. You hug her for many minutes while she sobs against your chest, wetting the front of your nightgown. No further words pass between you that night, but they do not need to. Words are irrelevant in a moment as tender as this, shared between two souls who have come to understand one another through mutual loneliness. You slide beneath your sheets. You still feel exhausted. And the gravedigger joins you without asking for permission. It would be an unnecessary piece of politeness, really, given your acceptance is all but assured. You have already accepted the gravedigger, after all, every single inch of her. You have accepted her hospitality. You have accepted her food. Now, you are accepting her company. You arrange yourself beneath the sheets, then draw her body to yours. The gravedigger has not yet changed into her nightwear. Her clothes will be horribly rumpled when she wakes come the following morning, her head resting on your chest. But tomorrow has ceased to matter. It no longer exists. There is no concept of time between the two of you, no thought of the day which will dawn once this night inevitably ends. Why can't it just stay like this? Why can't we have this? Their relationship is so beautiful. They're both so deeply stricken and lonely. And they finally have each other and... God damn it. Instead, there is only the warmth shared between you, and the wetness on the cheeks of the gravedigger. There is the sound, irregular now, and less intense than before, of your companion's muted, muffled sobs. There is this gentle, tender moment snatched in the mist of a deep, dark night, which can never be replaced. Your eyelids feel very heavy, as though weighted down with stones. They droop inexorably downwards, pulling you like a drowning maiden into the dark, impenetrable abyss of a slumber. You yawn, and then you fall asleep, cozied up beside the gravedigger like two cats in a basket. You sleep, and you sleep, and you sleep, more deeply than you have allowed yourself in quite some time. I must express my frustration at this moment. What they had was perfect. It was great. It was exactly what both of them needed. This wonderful, beautiful, loving intimacy that both of them were so desperately craving. And now, the protagonist has been buried alive. I freaking knew it! But when you awake, you find that you are no longer in the bed upon which you slept in, shrouded by sheets. What I hate is that despite how gruesomely sad it is, and despite how just awful and depressing every single route is, it's written really well. And I keep coming back to it because I keep wanting her to find happiness. I just want her to be happy. I'm hoping at the end of this she'll have something. Oh my god. The gravedigger, too, is nowhere to be seen. Instead, you are quite alone, lying by yourself in the dark. You blink, but your surroundings do not become any clearer. Is it the middle of the night? Perhaps you are roused from your slumber by your desire to relieve yourself or else slake your thirst. Your sleep has been awfully disordered as of late, and the smallest of noises have been enough to disturb you. And that does not sound quite right, though. You slept well, of that you are certain. Your body feels invigorated, as though it has slumbered for hours and hours. How many hours? You do not know. You do not know much of anything. You can feel a strange pinching sensation around your chest, however, and around your arms. It would appear that somebody, but who else could it have been, save the gravedigger, changed your attire while you were sleeping? That is a startling thought, but the darkness which entombs you is even more so. The darkness which surrounds you is unsettlingly complete. It is so thick that you cannot penetrate it. Your newfound woes do not stop, however, at this deep, unnatural darkness. It is cold, too, and you are lying upon something hard. Some sort of stone slab? Claustrophobics, be on your guard here. What is going on? You reach out, but your movements are soon stymied. There is something heavy lying atop you. Something that is limiting your movements. You were anxious before upon waking, but at this discovery you feel downright aggrieved. A sharp prong of pain pierces you, but you try to suppress it. Hysterics will get you nowhere. In most cases, they only tend to make bad situations even worse. You ought to know that already. You swallow your mounting dread as best you can, though it is coming on thick and fast, and try to squirm. You move your arms outwards, but they do not get very far. There is a wall above you, and walls on either side of you. Walls which do not budge no matter how hard you push. No, I must add that you can. What's happening to me? Not, I must add, that you can push particularly hard, your anxious state notwithstanding. You have never had much in the way of upper body strength nor lower body strength. You do not have much in the way of strength at all. You feel quite helpless as you lie there, out of breath from your meager exertions, unsure of what you should do. You can hardly set a foot in front of your face. You do not know where you are, nor why, but a terrible premonition is beginning to bear down upon you, one which initially you tried to discard. You did not want to accept it as a possibility, but where else could the truth lie? You are lying in a box, hemmed in by walls, which offer only a scant few inches for you to stretch in any direction. Where else could you be but a coffin? The moment you allow yourself to ponder this awful reality is the moment you hear it, the irregular sound of drumming. It is as though somebody, though they must be a very large somebody, is tapping their fingertips upon the lid of your coffin. That, or it is raining. It is not the fingers of a giantess, though, which is disturbing you, nor is it the falling rain. It is dirt. This continues on and on as though drilling its way inside your skull. It is relentless. It is merciless. Like the ticking of a great celestial clock, it cannot be stopped. Your time is almost running out. But you knew that already, didn't you, when you were running through the forest? You ought to have known, silly thing, that you could not outpace your destiny forever. Sooner or later, it would catch up with you. You are stubborn, though, and you do not want to accept this. Not content to simply lie there, you cry out. You cry not for your parents, whom you hardly knew, nor for your school friends, for you never had any. Instead, you cry out for your new companion, the girl with whom you have been living, and with whom you shared one precious, cherished moment. You cry out for the gravedigger. Surely this is some matter of mistake. When she realizes that you are in fact entombed in one of the coffins she is currently filling, or who else would be moving the dirt above you, she will cease her operations at once. She will pull you out of the darkness back into the world of living, and then she will hold you close. She will embrace you. She cannot mean to cause you any harm, not when she was so good to you and so kind. Why would she bury you? You cry for her so loudly that you feel your vocal cords might tear, all while banging against the roof of your compact prison. You cry desperately, helplessly, and to your relief, your cries do not fall upon deaf ears. Sound of the falling soil stops, albeit briefly. Then you hear a voice. The voice is very faint, given it's being filtered through your coffin's sturdy lid, but you recognize it. So, you're awake then, are you, dear one? The gravedigger says. She sighs. Then she says in a perplexed sort of voice, "Now, that is a pickle. I was hoping you'd be asleep a couple hours more, so the last time we spoke could have been on better terms. If you keep screaming like that, I'm gonna feel bad." Your companion's words, though distant, are unmistakable. You are so tense. You are attuned to every single syllable, and each of them makes you gasp. Yeah, she buried us alive. We hugged and cried and fell to sleep together, and then she buried me alive. Was this not a mistake then? Does she truly mean to bury you alive? You posit this question to the gravedigger as best you can, trying to keep the tremors from your voice as you do. Perhaps you think in your optimism that if you do not let her know how afraid you are, she will reward you for your bravery and let you go. If this is what you were hoping for, though, it is in vain. That's right. You really do catch on quick. So, it would appear she really has committed to the task of burying you. What an unfortunate turn of events. Why, though, would she do such a thing? You thought that she was your friend. We are friends, the gravedigger says, her voice still worryingly offhand, worryingly empty. I'm very fond of you. There's nobody dearer to me more than you. I've had a really good time with you in these last... How long's it been again? I don't remember. Neither do you. Well, if this little detail has slipped both of your minds, it can't be all that important. You have other things to worry about. If you really are friends, you say to the gravedigger, then what does she hope to gain by burying you? You do not understand. But you do understand. But you understand her reply even less. Well, here's the thing, the gravedigger says in a reasonable sort of voice, as though burying somebody alive could ever be thought of as a reasonable action. I've been digging graves for a long time, see? Cannot see. It is too dark. But you affirm that you do all the same. Well, I was digging all these graves, but I've not had anybody to put them in. Not for ages. It was rather sad. You think you know where this train of logic, twisted though as it is, might be going, so you do not interrupt her. You know no good would come of it. What if that something that was chasing me is possessing each girl after some time? There's a thought. And what if? Because in one of the endings, the narrator basically said, like, you know, I consent to love you. I feel like the narrator is the person who was chasing her. And maybe whoever the narrator is, if Rizu's theory is correct, she's possessing each one of these girls as soon as she gets close to them and making them betray her. That's messed up. All you can do for the present is lie there and listen. I was thinking I'd never find another person to bury in this godforsaken village. Not after the plague messed everything up. I was getting desperate. Until you came along, that is. Now that I have somebody I can bury, I'm not gonna let the opportunity pass me by. Are you just obsessed with burying people? Is that like your... Is that your whole personality? What is... That's weird. I'm sorry, but this is just part of my job. It's what my father taught me to do. It's all I know how to do. Yeah, she's stupid. Oh no! I buried my mother, and I buried my father. I buried all of my friends. Well, she's also, like, absolutely insane. She is so cracked in the head. Anybody in her situation would be. Now, I'm going to bury you too. It is sound logic, in a sense, that as the daughter of a gravedigger, digging graves is her job, but something about it rankles you. If only you could put your finger on it. Ah, yes. There is a bit of a flaw in her reasoning, is there not? You are not dead, after all. You might not be dead now, she says in response to your ingenuity, but you will be, if given enough time. I mean, everybody else I've ever known's died. Who's to say that you wouldn't be next? It seems rather more likely that you will die, and quickly, if she persists with her poorly thought-out plan to bury you. Your coffin is not very large. It affords you precious little space. Eventually, if trapped in it for long enough, you will run out of oxygen, then you will suffocate. That, or you will starve to death. Either way, your demise will be a slow, painful one. You are unsure which death would be worse, though, given how precarious your situation is, you do not wish to expend necessary energy to ponder it. You need to plead with the gravedigger. Yeah. Every time this has happened, we've rejected our fate, and that's the only way we've been able to keep going. You need to plead with the gravedigger, and quickly, while she is still here. You tell her tearfully that you would not leave her. Why would you? You try to sound as convincing as your disordered nerves will allow, but the gravedigger remains unmoved. You say that, she says, but how can I know you're telling the truth? I thought you said you were a traveler. They never stay put in one place for so long. You get sick of me before long. Then, you'd leave me. This way, at least, I can be assured that we'll always stay together. That's not how that works! That's not how that works! Not staying together. She's not there anymore. She's buried 6 feet underground in a box. Oh, what is with these women? Oh my god. Get some fucking therapy. Oh, I'm so mad. If I bury you like I did the others, we'll never be far apart. Even if I took care to put you in a nice spot close to my home. So it's you only a stone throw away, really. Isn't that nice? Privately, you think that the gravedigger has a different conception of the word nice to you. You do not say this, however. You cannot say much of anything because panic has begun to set in. It is choking you, stopping up your throat so that you can only cry. You scream. You beg, and you... Ow! My skull! Hello, bear! How dare you? You beg and you plead, but it does little good. The gravedigger has already buried her mother. She has already buried her little brothers. She even buried her father, whom she loved above all else. She thinks by burying you, she is doing unto you an act of great kindness. You think that she is going to kill you. In a sense, you're both right. Your opinions are so diametrically opposed on this matter, however, you'll never be able to find any common ground. You might as well save your screaming. She will not listen to you. She is beyond listening. Shush, shush, dear one, says the gravedigger, very I feel like if the possession theory is correct, it starts as soon as she starts calling us dear one. It's gotta be like it's the same every time. Very gently, just as gently as she spoke last night when she confided in you all of her fears. It won't be so bad, really. Nothing will be able to hurt you down there. It'll be just like going to sleep for a really, really long time. You can rest. And while you rest, I'll tend to you. I'll plant flowers on your grave. You'd like that, wouldn't you? In this way, we can always be together. And I'll never be lonely again. While the gravedigger speaks, she begins to pile even more soil onto the roof of your coffin. The sound of dirt on top of you, on your arms, your legs, and your head conceals your companion's final words. You cannot hear her. You cannot hear anything beyond the sounds of dirt and the scrapings of the shovel and of your own desperate, frantic screams. Right? Nothing can hurt you except for the horrible way that I am murdering you. You scream, and you scream, and you scream without cease until your throat feels hoarse, but your efforts are in vain. You hammer on the lid of the coffin with as much strength as you can muster, but the lid of the coffin is nailed shut. You are in no position to remove it. All you can do is lie there screaming and crying and banging your fists on the roof of the coffin over and over as more dirt and debris falls on top of you. Yeah, I guess that's fair. She'd make a great Project Zomboid character, completely full of flaws, but just barely determined enough to survive. Eventually, enough dirt falls on you to stifle your screams for good. The gravedigger can no longer hear you, and you can no longer hear her. You are all alone, trapped in a narrow box which, regardless of what you want, is now your new home. You can smell the soil in the backs of your nostrils when you inhale. It is so potent, you can taste it on your tongue. You can taste the eventual, inevitable decay of your own body. You will remain trapped here, underground, forever and ever. Or, to use less melodramatic terms, until the last of your energy escapes you and you succumb to your own slow suffocation. It isn't a very pleasant way to go, but you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. No, you didn't! No, you didn't, girl! You did great! You did so good! You did everything right! You did everything right with this girl! You didn't... She was just evil. Don't listen to the narrator. You reap what you sow, and in your case, you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try to fight against it? Oh, man. So, here's what we're gonna do. It's time to go on our break. Actually, it is way past time to go on our break. I'm gonna keep it a little bit short because I want to finish this game. But when we come back, we will fight against our fate for the last time. Maybe we'll accept our fate just to like see what that ending of the route is like. But we're gonna get to the bottom of this. We're gonna find out what's been chasing us. We're gonna find out who the hell the narrator is. We're gonna find out, hopefully, why every single one of these girls wants to kill us. And I look forward to it. So, thank you, everybody, for being here, as long as you have, especially those who've been here the whole time. And I will see you all very soon. Don't go away.
Hello again. Welcome back. Thank you. Thank you for the welcome back. Also, I admire and covet your gummies. Gramblo returns. No! Not Gramblo. Not B. Not ever. No. 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 I am not Gramblo. All of you can be Gramblo, but I am not Gramblo. Of course not. Why would I ever be? What's going on with my thing? I know they're your gummies, but I want them. I'm almost out of gummies, save for my little things of mochi, which aren't really gummies. And I like to, I don't know, does anybody else do this? When you get mochi, does anybody else like to like put it in the freezer? So that it becomes kind of like a little bit more hard and cold and kind of like a little frozen treat. A compromise Rizu? What might this be? What if you're all Gramblo and I am the main Gramblo? Why you gotta make it sound so enticing? Why do you... It's definitely not under a giant box held up by a stick and string as part of some ingenious Valkyr trap. Who would even think of that? Oh good, I'll just grab it with my telekinesis. Thank you. Alright. Yes. I know somebody's gonna clip it if I say it. I will perhaps accept this title as Queen of the Gramblos. I will be the Gramblo Monarch. There, I said it. I've done it. I've admitted it. Where are my treats? Hey, no. What do you mean, hey, no? What? We have democracy? I don't necessarily... I don't know about that. I mean, it is a democracy. It's like a little bit more of a republic. Because you guys can make your votes, but you're not gonna control me. Besides, what if I want to be queen? Or like, empress? Or prince? Or princess?
You know, one of those cute monarchly titles. I want to be a lady of status. Yes. Let's learn from the French. Okay, maybe not. Maybe we don't. Hey, I'm not trying to starve you guys and like treating you like garbage, making economic sanctions that slowly bleed you dry. Try to go with like the UK system then? Oh, with like a where I'd be a queen just of title and have no actual governmental power? Okay, you know what? That's it. I don't accept this deal. I don't accept this deal. I will not be president or queen or mistress or empress of the Gremblos. I will not be main Gremblo just so that you guys can control me. No, I will not have this. I do not accept these terms. Rethink your contract and then send it to me again. I am going to get the achievement by accepting my fate. I'm not even a dictator. I am not a dictator at all. I am so nice to you guys. And I always want you to tell me your opinions, and I listen to you guys' votes. Come on. I love your guys' input, suggestions, and stuff. I'm not a dictator. Anyway, very well then. Enjoy your eternal slumber. I suppose this is good night for now, but it is not goodbye. You cannot escape from me, even if you are buried beneath the earth. Where there is a will, there is a way. And even if the whole world has forsaken you, I never will. I will never leave you. You will never be lonely again. Alright. Let's come back to this. Fight against our fate. Are you not happy with the hand that fate has dealt you? Very well. I cannot blame you. It is quite a grim ending. I would not wish it upon my worst enemy, and you are rather dearer to me than that. Now, why don't we give this another go? Immortal, if you're still here and listening, I would love to know, is whatever is happening next, is this gonna be like the length of a whole nother route? Or is this like a very short kind of wrap-up ending type thing? I just want to know, because I want to know whether or not I can extend stream a little bit, or like, just end at somewhat normal time. No, not nearly, no. Okay, somewhat shorter. Very short wrap-up? Sweet. We're doing it. Now, why don't we give this another go? Just try not to be buried alive this time. I can only endure so much of your screaming. Your fate is, once again, in your hands. FBC. FBC. I feel like you've already told me about this one. I don't remember what that game is though. Now, I wonder, which path will you take? The only option left is give up. Ouch. Flesh, blood, and concrete. Oh, right. That was like kind of short, wasn't it? It was also like super brutal and mean and evil. Give up. So, you've come back here, have you? That does not come as much of a surprise. Though presented with 3 potential paths, it is not as though traversing any of them would have any particular impact on your ultimate fate. In the end, you were always destined to return here. Did you really think you had a choice? How hopelessly naive of you. I thought you were smarter than that. Your breath, which once escaped your lips in sharp, ragged gasps, is now on the verge of petering out altogether. Your lungs feel deflated as though they might have been punctured. Your blood is rushing through your temples in a heady, overwhelming surge. Your stomach, meanwhile, has twisted itself up into knots. Your body feels heavy, your legs in particular. They no longer wish to obey you. You take a stumbling step forwards and your foot gets caught in a tree root. You are certain that you passed this route once already and that you sidestepped it, but perhaps your memory is beginning to fail you just like the rest of your body. You gasp. The witching hour. Is it almost time for me to make my grand entrance? Here we go. You gasp, surprised, and pitch forwards, dull and senseless like a sack full of potatoes. Your arm hits the ground with a crack, one which makes you cry out in pain. Tears begin to bead on your eyes, wet and salty, tears which you cannot stymie. You are not as resilient as the gravedigger, nor as carefree as the princess. If you lived underwater like the mermaid, then nobody, at the very least, would be able to tell that you were crying. But you do not. And I can. Believe me, I can. Your arm aches dreadfully, but at least you can still feel it. Your poor feet, meanwhile, have gone numb. You would try to stand had you the energy, but you know as you sit there dazed that this would be a futile effort. You cannot stand. Not any longer. It hurts too much. You really have been through a lot tonight, haven't you? I fear I have not been very kind to you. But you ought to be accustomed to hardship. Why, then, are you crying? You always have been a crybaby. That is why they teased you so much. It is because they knew they would be guaranteed a reaction. You were very predictable. Even now, after you tried to borrow my power for your own purposes, you have not changed at all. As you sit there sobbing, you hear, or you think you can hear, footsteps approaching you. There to your right is the snapping of a twig. To your left, the telltale rustle of leaves. Your every sense feels razor sharp, honed to a knife's point by anxiety. You are so panicked, you feel as though you are going to be sick. If you want to vomit, then why not? There's no shame in it. There's nobody here to judge you. Nobody but me. I have always been here, you know. I will always be here, no matter how fast you try to run, or how far. Did you really think you could escape me? Poor, sweet child. Poor little fool. I did tell you, did I not? A contract with a witch is binding. No amount of physical distance between the both of us could ever sever it. I told you I would never let you be lonely, and I meant it. But I've had rather enough of these little games. It is time for me to collect my collateral. Oh! Oh, she's cute. Pat that head. Pat, 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 pat. That's a really great picture, too. Oh my god. A soft gasp escapes your throat as you feel my arms wind their way about your back. Naturally, you know whose arms they are. They are mine. I have been watching you all night, but this is the first time I have reached out to you in so direct a manner. Did you not expect me to be so forward? I can hear your heart fluttering in your chest. It is beating very quickly, like a startled rabbit's. Your breaths are short and sharp. It is a cold night, and though I am holding you, you are still shaking. I wish you would not tremble so. Everybody fears the unknown, but we are not strangers. We have spoken before, have we not, when you first called me forth from the ether using that book you found in the library? You were desperate enough then to turn to the occult for help. You pleaded with me to use my magic for your behalf. You begged me. You implored and you entreated and you wheedled and you whined, and though I had some reservations, you forced my hand. I had no choice, not in the face of your desperation. You did not want to be lonely anymore. You wanted to have a friend, somebody who would always be there for you no matter what. You wanted somebody to love you. Is that not what you demanded of me? Is that not what I have given you? You might think me wicked, but I think you are being awfully cruel yourself. To run from me after I've made all of your wishes come true. I did think, about punishing you for running away from me. I thought of poking out your eye so that you may never see anybody other than me. I thought of cutting off your long, lovely hair so that nobody might ever think you beautiful but me. I thought of breaking your legs so that you might never be able to escape from me. I turned all of these intriguing ideas over in my mind, but I am a merciful witch. Though you hurt me, I did not wish to hurt you. You asked, after all, that I love you, and that is what I did. I have drowned you in my love. I have buried you beneath my love. I have swallowed you with my love. You have always been a sad, lonely girl, one who has been starved of affection. Nobody has ever cared for you. Your life has been a barren, empty wasteland, one devoid of any fonder feelings. That is why I had to drown you, you see. That is why I had to bury you. It is why I had to swallow you. In the end, I was doing you a favor. I was doing it all for you. In that sense, you are very lucky. Do you know that? There are few people in the world who have had the privilege of being loved to the brink of insanity quite this many times in one night. There are few people in the world who can claim to have been loved by a witch. You have experienced so much love, it ought to have slaked even your unquenchable thirst. You know now what it feels like to be adored. I have more than upheld my end of the bargain. Now I think it is time that you do the same. From this night forth, you and I will always be together. Then I shall be able to love you endlessly. You will never be lonely again. Wow, is that it?
There... Really? But there's... There's still... Yeah. There's 4 endings here. Ooh, notes? Whoa! Oh. Oh. We can read that later if we have time. But there's no way we're done. There is no... Oh, she got rid of our saves. There is no possible way we are done. You are running through a forest, but this shouldn't come as a surprise to you. You've been here before, haven't you? It is beginning to feel like you've been running for a long, long time, but the sun, despite the overwhelming weariness which assails your legs, has yet to arise. Why, I wonder, could that be? You are sure, as you have run,
that you have seen this already. You have seen the fractal pattern of the moon's milky glow as it spills on the uneven forest floor, and the trees which jut out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god. You have seen wicked brambles which sought to ensnare you, and I might add, succeeded, and tree roots, hooked like the choppy fingers of a witch far older than I, which sought to trip you. You have cut your feet. You have torn your skirt. You have taken numerous paths, yet they all ended in failure. Once, you had hope. Now, it's gone. You have already given in to me. So why are you still running? Silly girl. Did you really think you could escape from me after all I have subjected you to already? There is no use trying to escape from my embrace, and, if I may be so bold, I am hurt that you would even attempt it. Were you not happy with me? I was happy with you. But, no matter. You are a stubborn little chit, and perhaps you think that things will be different this time around. Well, see you after, bye, Valor. I hope work goes okay. Well, Rizu's, theory was actually pretty damn close. It wasn't that the witch was possessing all of them, it's that the witch was all of them. That is why you began to run. I can see, despite the fear in your eyes, that your resolve has not burnt out. Not just yet. A spark of it still remains. A spark that I mean to extinguish for good. It is pointless, you know, trying to escape from a witch's curse. In this forest of phantasmagoria, constructed from my own powers, I am a creator goddess. Mother Earth, if you will. It does not matter how quickly you run, trampling the tall grass and loose leaves and ugly spotted mushrooms underfoot. I still have you right where I want you, in the palm of my hand. I will not let you get away that easily. But, very well. If you insist on playing this little game, then I will indulge you. I will play along. Passion may be effective, but spite and vitriol are perfectly acceptable substitutes. God, a little bit. We can do this all over again. Now, where were we? Oh yes. You are still running through a forest. It is late at night, and the sky is black as pitch. There is nothing to light your way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach you, not properly. The trees which surround you, jutting the earth out of the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. You cannot see where you are going. Even if you had commenced your flight at a more sensible hour, though, with the light of the sun to aid you, it would be of little use. You do not know where you are going. You have no map, no route, no plan. You are running like a frightened animal, anxious and nervy, with no destination in mind, none beyond the almost overwhelming impetus to escape. You cannot let yourself be caught, though it is too late, I suppose, for that. You have no choice, therefore, keep going on and on and on, though your feet are screaming at you for mercy. You run and you run and you run until at very long last you reach a fork in the road. There are 3 paths which split off through the forest. Well, 4 if you count the path down which you came. You cannot exactly double back on yourself, though. Why would you? You have put all that effort, after all, into running forwards. Not just once again, but twice. I doubt you mean to confront me. How can you when you are so very afraid? I hear your teeth chattering, you know. I can see your legs trembling. Your fear rolls off you in waves more potent than any perfume. Your anxiety is truly staggering. It is a wonder, really, how you are able to keep putting one foot in front of the other. You will keep putting your feet one in front of the other, though, no matter what decision you make. You will not turn back. How could you? You are far too cowardly. Now, The 3 paths are signposted as well, you know, which would be a strange sight given you are so deep in the forest, but you ought to be used to strange sights by now. Most things remain the same besides the trips back to the forest at the end of each route. So I'm coming back to this, and all of the routes, like I'm gonna go through all 3 routes again, and they're all the same, except coming back to the forest. All right. It is dark, but that does not matter. You have seen the signpost before, and you know full well where each path will lead you. I would say that your fate is in your hands, but you and I both know that is incorrect. Your fate is, and always has been, mine to manipulate. Must we really go through this rigmarole again? You won't discover anything new, you know. The mermaid, the gravedigger, and the princess will not deviate from the scripts which have already been prepared for them. I did not, in all honesty, think to furnish any further responses for them. I did not think you would be seeing them again. But no matter. If this is what you want, I shall provide it for you. Go ahead. Throw your life away, again and again and again. Be drowned by love. Be buried by love. Be consumed by love. Then, when you have had enough and you can no longer stand, submit yourself once again to my embrace. And let yourself experience the love as precious few humans have ever before had the misfortune of experiencing. God, what does she do to you? End of each? Think you've missed? What do you mean? I didn't miss any endings. Let's see. Here it is again. Guess I'm fighting against my fate. Oh. You still wish to soldier on, do you? Oh god, no, stop. Yes, that is... We did see that there were more gallery items, like, possibly per ending, and, you know, there's something new right here. Oh, you still wish to soldier on, do you? That is remarkable, given this is the 2nd time you've been pulled beneath the ocean's surface. I would have thought you would want to give up by now. But, no matter. You really are stubborn. I cannot promise a better fate than this awaits you, regardless of what you might choose, but I'm willing to indulge you. Let us go back to the beginning once again. Your fate is in your hands. At least, that is what you once thought. You and I both know, however, that this was never the case. Not now that you belong to me. How much longer can you keep resisting, though? I cannot wait to find out. So you want to go to the village? Fuck yeah! Hi, grave lady. I love you, you little awful person. Alright, now don't skip. Please don't skip. My, this is certainly unexpected. I had rather thought, after everything you had been subjected to, you would no longer wish to continue this farce. I was fully prepared for you to forfeit yourself at long last to my loving embrace. I am ready to embrace you, should you so desire it, and cradle you with my unassailable affection. But it seems you are not ready to submit. Not quite yet. Being buried alive twice over has not been enough to diminish your determination. You still wish to fight against me, as if you had any hope of succeeding. Your efforts are all futile. Do you not know that? I am far, far stronger than a skinny human like yourself could ever begin to contemplate. You would be better served if you gave in. But perhaps I have not loved you effusively enough. Not just yet. If you are to learn anything, I must first beat it into that thick skull of yours. Will you listen to me then? I only want what's best for you, you know. Hurting you hurts me too. That's such a lie. But if that is what you want, so be it. Let us go back to the beginning once again. Your fate is in your hands. At least that is what you might think. You and I both know, however, that this was never the case. You still belong to me, and I will never let you forget that. Now, continue to struggle. Do your very best. It will not work, but it should be entertaining if nothing else. So you want to go to the castle? Yeah, I do! Look at you, you're so pretty, oh my god, I want you to suck on my finger again. Oh, I'm gonna read you stories. Holy crap. Oh, do I taste like pork? No? Bacon? Okay. But we're not getting in. We're not giving in this time either. Nope. Oh? You wish to keep going, do you? That is impressive, given this is the second time you have been devoured so heartily. Of all the demises you have experienced, this one is the most gruesome. If you are tired of these repetitions, I would understand. I am not the wicked witch you might think I am. I would be willing to show you mercy should you want it. But I can tell that you do not want it. Goodness me, you are stubborn. Why, I ask, do you continue to fight? There is no escape for you, you know. I will never let you leave, no matter how you struggle. But, very well. Let us go back to the beginning once again. Your fate is in your hands. Or so I once told you. You ought to know now, however, that this was never truly the case. You still belong to me. I am not going to let you get away from me, not that easily. You can still struggle as much as you want, but it will be in vain. It does not matter where you go. Has my cloak always been blue? Yes, kind of. Like the inside of the cloak has always had like blue starry stuff going on in it. Also, hi Lou. Yes. If you're looking for somebody to raid, I will warn you, we are ending, like, in a couple minutes. Like, as soon as this is over, which we're very close. Hi. How's Terraria been? I will always find you. I can promise you that much. It might be more than 5 minutes. You guys said it was gonna be a quick wrap-up. But I really want to see the end. I don't want to do another stream for this. I want to see the end. Congrats on getting to hard mode. You want to spoil? What do you guys say to me, Rizu? Because, like, if it actually is, like, the length of a whole nother route, like I asked, I'm gonna be... You guys lied to me. You said it'd be a quick wrap-up. No! What do you think I'm gonna do? Of course I'm gonna try and finish the entire game. That's the point! You! Ugh, both of you! You're just trying to manipulate me, aren't you? Give up? There, you see? Are you happy now? I told you that there was no use in repeating this night, yet you failed to listen. You have been drowned, buried, and consumed once more, and for what? Do you feel as though you have made any progress? Your citizen sleeper finishing streams when then? That's not how that works, Immortal. That's a completely different case. Citizen Sleeper has several branching paths and several different endings, several different routes and ways that you can play the game. This is one game with one story. And you cannot deny me that. This has one story that is being told that has several side stories built inside of it. But that is different than what is going on in Citizen Sleeper. So don't even. Do you feel as though you have made any progress in your attempts to escape from me? Once again, you find yourself as you were at the end of your last foray into my forest full of nightmares. You are kneeling upon the ground, your feet aching, perhaps they're bleeding, and your skirt tattered and torn. You try to inhale, but it hurts. It feels as though your lungs have been punctured by a pair of embroidery scissors. When you swallow, you can taste salt upon your tongue. When you blink, it is so very dark in these woods you fear you cannot see. There is a heavy, leaden weight upon your shoulders. It feels as though somebody is shoveling soil upon you. Your body is cold, as though it has been sapped of all warmth. Your blood, which ought to flow through your veins, feels as though it has frozen. God damn it. Lou, stop helping them. Don't make this worse. That, or it has been purged from your body altogether in rust-red gobbets. Have you not had enough of this now, silly thing? I am saying this for your sake, you know, just as much as I am mine. Though I might have trapped you hence, I did it only because I care for you. Just a bit of warning on the last choice, don't pick quickly. What does that mean? How much more game is here? Should I be expecting another 3 hours? What is going on? I could have just done this tomorrow. Don't even have plans for tomorrow. I want only for you to realize the folly of your ways. Now, cease your foolish attempts to escape. They will accomplish nothing save stretching your mind beyond its limitations. It has already, I fear, been stretched thin already. One of the options nukes all of your saves to the point where you'd have to do it all 3 times against the other. Fuck. Humans are not designed to die. Not as incessantly as you have. One death would be enough to finish most of your kind off, yet you have endured 6 of them. Yeah, so in other words, I'm not gonna go, oh hey, this is the choice I want to make, but this is the choice I want to see in case there's like something different to it. I'm just gonna not nuke my saves. You do not want to go through that again, do you? Then do not run from me. Let me console you. Let me embrace you. Let me love you. What do you say to that? Oh, I don't get a choice. Okay. Cat got your tongue, hmm? Well, no matter. You will not need your tongue to speak while we are together. It is an unnecessary appendage. However, you might wish... Wait, what? Wait. Did I pick too quickly? Could I have waited and then there would have been another choice? Oh god. Okay. Okay. My heart. My heart dropped into my stomach for a second. I was gonna be so mad if I had to do this a third time. I mean, if I had to do this 3 more times. You will not need your... It is a necessary appendage, however much you might wish, one day to whisper sweet nothings to me. I am an all-powerful witch, after all, and I can hear all of your thoughts. I know what you are thinking. Nothing again, huh? Yes, that is right. Silence is golden, as they say. You do not need to speak. You do not need to blink. You do not even need to breathe. Now that you are finally mine, I will cut off your tongue, and I will pluck out your pretty little eyes, and I will... No. I beg your pardon? What was that, dear one? Oh. She says no. I said no. I am not your dear one. I never wanted this. What? You would defy me still after all you have endured? Were 6 deaths not enough for you, you gluttonous girl? Do you wish for more? I just wished for a friend. I didn't want to be lonely. But you ensnared me. You tricked me. Well, I never. What bold accusations. They are not true, though, you know. They are bald-faced lies. I did nothing of the sort. My name might begin in a similar fashion, but I am no Mephistopheles. I was very upfront when we first met. I said if you wish to make a contract with me, it would cost you. It is your own fault that you did not listen. You accepted my terms, and now you are paying the price. Now, if you will come with me, my dear... I am not your dear! Really now? This has all become rather tiresome. I must insist that you cease this childish outburst once, or else... Or else what? Will you cut off my tongue? Will you pluck out my eyes? You already stole my name. Oh. But it's coming back to me. What? No, that should be impossible. You gave your name to me. You gave your soul to me. You pledged your heart and your body to me, and now I want them back. I'm tired of these games, too. Medea. Hey. That explains a lot. You remember my name? I do now. You're called Medea, and I... No, stop it! I'm called Rosette! Aw. That's such a cute name, oh my god. Oh my god. It can't be. I knew you were stubborn, but... I learned how to be stubborn. I'm used to being bullied. You're just like the others. I'm not afraid of you anymore. You took everything from me, and now I'm taking it back. No, you can't. Rosette, please, don't go. Don't leave me. We made a contract, you and I. You said that you wanted a friend, and I promised to be that friend. I promised that I would always be there for you. You really mean to abandon me? That was the general idea. And what of me? What am I supposed to do? You can rot for all I care. What? No! Rosette! Yeah, actually, she's really cool. I really like this character. And, like, you know, you have to wonder now, the narrator had such awful things to say about her the whole time, but really, was she ever that bad? Was it just her twisting and taking advantage of her horrible self-esteem? Because she is kind of a frickin' treasure of a person. I call after you retreating back, but you do not heed my words. You do not turn your head. Once, it was you who knelt in the dirt, your clothes tattered and torn, your dignity alongside it. You were so vulnerable then. And you are so very, very beautiful. In a perverse way, however, I think you might look even more beautiful now that you are walking away from me. That is the thing you humans say, is it not? You never realize just how much you value something until you no longer have it. It does not hold true in my case, however. I knew you were a precious find when you first summoned me. Your fiery determination, even in the face of extreme hardship, endeared you to me. I thought you very noble, really. How had you survived for so long in an environment which was so very hostile? For a human, I thought you remarkable. That is why I decided to form a contract with you. I thought, with a human like you by my side, my own life of empty, endless wandering might not be so lonely. Goodness me. I must be growing sentimental in my old age. Now you are not the one upon the ground. It is I. I could keep calling for you, but I know it would do no good. You will not turn back from me now, not when I have caused you so much suffering. I did not mean to hurt you so, though. I truly did love you, albeit in my own way. In the end, however, I suppose the love of a witch was too much even for you to endure. Now there is nothing but the milky moonlight and the trees which jut out of the earth about me. They look like monuments built in the honor of a foreign god. They look like nothing from the world that you knew, Rosette. Because they are not of your world. They are of mine. Now you have fled from me like a bird let loose from its cage. I fear I will never see you again. I will be on my own, in this forest, for all of eternity. Or until another silly little girl with stars in her eyes and dreams in her heart summons me once more. It has happened a handful of times in the past. It might one day happen again. Until that day, however, I will lie here among the foliage and the fog, and I will close my eyes. I will let myself dream, and, enrobed in the undulating mist, I shall think to myself, it gets so lonely here.
Well, well. Well, that's also not it. We don't have any saves. Nothing worth mentioning in the extras, although I got this wonderful picture of Rosette finally standing up for herself. Good for you. She's so pretty. Okay. I have calmed down after my outburst, and now I'm dialed. I'm ready for us to see the very end of this, no matter how long it takes. I am sitting in a forest. It is late at night, and the sky is black as pitch. There is nothing to light my way save for the moon's milky glow, but its rays cannot reach me, not properly. The trees which surround me, jutting out the earth like eerie monuments to a foreign god, are blotting out most of the light. If I were running, I would not be able to see where I was going. But such concerns are trivial to me. There is nowhere, after all, for me to run to. I am all alone. You have abandoned me. You made a contract with me once. I'm the witch? What? When you wished for a friend. It was a contract I swore to fulfill upon my good name. But you betrayed me. Oh, Rosette, why did you have to go? My days were intolerably dull and tedious without you to amuse me. Your company slaked my boredom nicely. But now that you have gone, that boredom has returned fourfold. It's so consuming, I fear I might go mad from it. If I have not, granted, gone mad already. If only there was another mortal out there, one who might keep me company. If only.
Oh? Perhaps I spoke too soon. It would seem that another has intruded upon my moonlit solitude after all, far more quickly than I was expecting. How very fortuitous. Well met, stranger. Does the moon not look beautiful tonight? Why, it is almost as if our encounter were preordained by a being far greater than the both of us. But that, of course, is a foolish thought. There are few beings out here more powerful than myself. Now then, would you care to create a contract with me and relive the events of this night anew?
Oh! Shit, Oh. Yeah, I was about to say, it's probably making the contract and nukes it because it just, like, starts the cycle all over again. It's gotta be not making a contract that continues things. Here's hoping.
Oh? Do you not wish to stay with me, dear one? Very well. You're awfully cruel, but I can understand how you feel. I am a benevolent witch, regardless of what people might say, and I would never force you to do anything, not against your will. My love is, and always has been, reciprocal in nature, though she did not appreciate that. Now, if that is all, would you like to run along? No good can come, you know, of soliciting with witches in the dead of night. You had best be on your way, and quickly. Otherwise, I might just change my mind. After all, it gets so lonely here? Oh. Is that... Wait, is that all the achievements? Did we actually do it? We did it! We have 100% of this game. Holy crap. I was actually expecting it to take a little bit longer, and I was kind of hoping, I was really hoping that we would maybe get a little bit more of Rosette in our lives. I really hope maybe she finds... I hope when she goes out into the forest, into the countryside, that she meets the princess of her dreams, and everything is better. Either way, that was awesome. This was a really wonderful game. Thank you guys. Thank you, especially Immortal, for, like, bringing it to my attention. The Dev has made a lot of other fans. Might be a Rosette in there. Ooh, that's a good question. What about the other choice? Do it. Can I? What? This is new. Oh, are you still here? I thought that I already sent you on your way. You certainly are a stubborn child. That, or a very cruel one, to take delight in my suffering as you are. Now, don't just stand there. If there is something you wish to tell me, I would bid that you tell it. Have you reconsidered my earlier offer? Very good. Now, come to me, dear one. You are lonely too, I can tell. The scent of loneliness positively rolls off of you, much like mist in the early morning. Oh, come. Do not look so surprised. It was not at all a difficult guess. Why else would you be spending time with me had you anything better to do with your time? We are all lonely here. In that sense, we might not be so very dissimilar, you and I. Though, I might be a witch, and you a human, I am not a stranger to the complicated emotions of your kind. I was a human myself once upon a time. Though it was a very, very long time ago. Now, come to me, and I shall tell you a story. I will tell you of a story of a girl running through the forest without ceasing, a girl entrapped in a patchwork fairy tale world with no beginning and no end. My story will unravel, broken from now until the end of time. And if you allow yourself to be submerged within it, we need never be lonely again.
Oh! And the game closed itself. Wow. Wow. I really enjoyed that.
Holy cow. And yes, Immortal, I did notice that the dev does do a lot of other VNs, and I also noticed that they have a couple of VN recommendations for things that were similar to other stuff that they've written. So, I'm pretty sure that we're gonna play those too. Maybe some of them. I'm gonna look like at what the best ones are, because obviously I have my obsession with Yuri, and I think it'll be fun because I've been wanting to do more and more visual novels anyway, and you guys seem to really like this author, so I feel like this is a good direction to go. Yes, Lou, it was quick. I was not. It's not like I was upset to like stream for longer. Girls are cute. Girls are adorable. Anyway, it's not like I was upset that I had to like go on for longer just to finish the game. I was upset because I felt deceived. That was it. I felt like I was kind of like led to expect one thing when the truth was another, and that was all. And you know, I got over that pretty quickly. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here, especially those of you guys who've been here the whole time until the very end. I am very tired, and I've done a lot of reading today. So I would love to rest my voice and just go chill out for now. Thank you guys again for being here. I really appreciate you, and I'm really glad that we got to finish this game together, especially 100%ing it, because I was just eating it up, just like I'm gonna eat this egg. Ow! Anyway, please be well to yourself and others until I see you next. And I eagerly await you guys all in the next one. Have a great night now. Ciao, ciao.